Going live.
Because we live, bitches!
Coming soon to the theater.
It's alive. It's moving. It's coming this way.
Watch your feet when you step off and then just kicked off the bare feet. I don't want you to trip.
What is up, everybody? It's Brian, back with another episode of What? The Horror Movie Club. The club where, what do? We watch horror movies and we talk about them. And we always try to make sure that it's a movie that's not behind a paywall. So if you're listening to us talking about tonight's movie, which is Let's Scare Jessica to Death, I almost said, I always get that mixed up with the title anyway. I always get that mixed up with Evelyn Has Risen from the Grave. I don't know why. They're very different movies, but I always get those titles mixed up. But anyway, yes, tonight's movie is Let's Scare Jessica to Death. It's from 1971. I don't want to give too much away. This is one of those movies where you are best going in cold. You can click on a link below in the description. It will take you to a 100% free, unedited, uncensored version of the movie. This is a really, really interesting one. And, interesting is usually a bad thing to say, right? It's just like, well, what did you think of it? Oh, it was interesting, right? But by interesting, I don't mean the movie itself, because the movie itself is just creepy as hell, very atmospheric. It's, fall here in New York, all the leaves are brown. It's apple season. I live in an area that's close to Sleepy Hollow. We do Halloween up right here. You should see the displays that my neighbors have done on their front lawns. It's insane. And this is one of those movies that I always watch almost every fall for some reason. And it is set in the fall. And it looks like it's shot in upstate New York, although actually it's shot in Connecticut. The reason I use the word interesting is because this is a movie that is virtually unknown to the vast majority of horror movie fans, which is a pretty broad audience right now. It's not like it used to be, where it's all just trolls like myself that were like into the real creepy stuff. It is rising in terms of its critical value. That is to say, it is being discovered, it is being talked about, and there's a lot of love for this movie that's out there amongst the fandom. And yeah, I always try to that's the thing. It's like sometimes we'll cover mainstream movies here, stuff that you've probably seen before, like John Carpenter's The Thing. But sometimes also I want to introduce you to stuff that you've probably been sleeping on, but that you shouldn't be sleeping on, that you should be checking out. Speaking of checking out, let's bring on my boy, your boy, Preston Acevedo. How are you doing, brother man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Actually, you know what? I'm fucking butthurt is what I am. You know why? Because I went to see Terrifier 3.
It was terrible.
No, it's great. That's not the problem. The movie isn't the problem.
The production quality was bad.
No.
The script was horrible.
No, they didn't have the fucking Art the Clown popcorn buckets.
Oh, what? Oh, shit.
And these were supposed to be like AMC theater exclusives. And I get there, and this is what they've got. This is what they got.
Oh, that fucking sucks. It sucks. I can tell you this, though. So I want to make a couple of corrections. I watched the Hellboy movie. And,
the new shit, the Crooked Man, yeah, and?
It was absolutely incredible. Like it was so incredible. Like it was about the same or better than the first two movies, but in a completely different direction. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like it's hard to explain. Like it never had that whimsical family feel to it. It
Well, the
had
movies were
that.
like more like X-Men.
Well, it had more of that mystical hillbilly feel. You know.
So you're not being sarcastic because
No, I'm not. I swear to God, like it was fucking incredible. Like,
Really?
It was really, really good.
No
And
shit.
yeah, dude. Yeah, it was good. And there was another movie we watched too that was it was decent. It wasn't too bad, but people were talking shit about it. Shit, dude, I can't remember. I can't remember what it was.
Wait a second. You don't smoke weed, do you?
No, I probably should.
No, you don't, because then you're gonna look like this guy here. And
I'm also
always
finishing up the last
words and shit. So, but at least I have an excuse.
I'm doing the last 5 pages of Six Gun, and I gotta admit, like it really is a tearjerker on those last 5 pages.
Oh yeah.
Just saying. I think people should know that.
Got you by the feels, dude. I'm telling you, that's why people love that book, is because it gets them by the feels.
It's not an easy thing to do, especially when you're as cynical as I am. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And I was like, holy shit, that's pretty sweet. Especially the whole setup that you wrote in there. Like, it's
yeah,
really well
I mean,
done.
I wanted to kind of like give it. It's not a downer ending, but it's a little bittersweet, right? It's a little sad.
Well, doing the book is like reading the book really, really slowly, right?
Right.
So, like when I reached these final pages, I was like, because I never read ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like I never read ahead, and sometimes it's to the detriment of what I'm doing, and sometimes it's to the benefit because everything's new as I'm going. You know,
Interesting.
So like everything comes to me like in a spark of imagination. And it's not like just festering there and becoming old and, you know, and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So when I got to it, it was new to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I was like, oh, okay, where are we going with this? I was like, okay. And at first I was like, I wonder how, like before I even started these 5 pages, when I see it was the last 5 pages, I was like, I wonder how he's going to end this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I'm
thinking to myself, I'm like, is it going to be like a ending, you know, it's going to be left open as a cliffhanger? Are they going to rot off? And then it was like, oh, fuck. It's left on a downer. Like, not a bad downer, but a down, like a down, like, you know, it's a tearjerker. So, yeah.
Yeah. That was my intention, you know. The whole thing is designed to hopefully pluck at your heartstrings. But also, you know, in a way where it's like, you know, that's all part of like just the balls out adventure, where it just like it starts out as like a little Western, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then finally you've got a gorilla on a fucking Zeppelin, and
that's the thing.
Opening up.
Like if you can actually get people to read the book, like I think it would be a very popular book. It's just that people, when they see gorilla and Western, and especially nowadays, now that we're in this like super sci-fi realm where everything either has to be a complete fucking disaster, you know what I'm saying? Where whole planets are being destroyed or something like that. It's hard to get people to read a story like this, you know, which kind of sucks, like really does.
Yeah, well,
really
you know, that's what the reviews are good for. That's also when like Mike Barron, Chuck Dixon, Jor Lansdale, when those cats actually like were kind enough to take out the time to give me the big thumbs up and nice little quote to use, that you know, that makes a huge difference. And the fact that people like the book is great, but when people like write me and tell me like, yo, that shit made me cry, I'm like, yes, because, you know, as artists, what do we want to do? We want to be able to make a living at what we're doing. We want to entertain. That's the number one thing, is entertaining, right? Yeah. But you're also hoping that maybe you could like touch a soul, right?
Well,
why when shit's precious to people's hearts, like the stuff that we love is precious to our hearts.
Yeah. Well, here's my suggestion. Yeah. And I don't own the IP, you own it, right? But my suggestion would be this.
Yeah.
It's hard to get people to read this, but But if they did, it'd be fucking amazing. But I think nowadays people like to sample shit before they actually get into it. And the best way to do that is through motion comics, especially this new like age of motion comics that they have. And if I was you, I'd probably think about like maybe contacting somebody like Danny Malt or Comics Explained or somebody like that, and see if they'd be like if you could hire them to go ahead and do like a 30-minute video of Six Gun Gorilla where it just goes through the whole 12
like the entire first issue. That would be amazing.
Or an hour, because they have editors that'll go through and like set it. All they do is the narration. They send off to their editor. Their editor sets it up to where everything like flows.
Right. You know? Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. I'm already going to take a financial hit on this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, well, I'm going to get cornholed. But that's okay, because then I'm going to have a finished book. I can do an omnibus. I can retitle the thing. You know, when I copyrighted it, I copyrighted it under like a bunch of alternate titles. I could change the name to Silverback, right? I could change it. Gunslinger Gorilla sounds a little bit too Hanna-Barbera, I think. Yeah. But I do have a bunch of other titles.
Well, I mean, there's also other things you can do too. Like when we launch the Kung Fu book, you know. Yeah. We can add the first 2 issues of Six Gun Gorilla as like just a bonus. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
That'd be a bonus.
It would entice people to go ahead and like it'll leave them on a cliffhanger. So of course, any like obsessive like collector would be like, dude, I gotta read the rest of this. You know what I'm saying? And it'd be like
on the campaign page. You
it's
can
the
go
drug
there
dealer.
The whole entire first issue for free.
It's your drug dealer type of business.
They're like
your business tactics, right? You give them a little sample, and then when they want more, you have to charge them for it.
Well, yeah, no, that's the whole idea. Is first one's for free.
First hit's free.
Anyway, let's also bring on Pops. What's going on, Pops? Looking very golf-like.
We're just trying to breathe.
You okay there, brother?
Yeah, I'm monitoring 4 different chats, trying to keep track of.
All right, well, take care of yourself physically, though, you know?
Well, you know, there's only one way to get through a show like that.
I'm telling you, man, I got to get you to switch to the vaporizer.
I don't like that shit, man.
But, dude, it's just like, seriously, switch to the vaporizer and you go up a flight of stairs like a lot easier and be like, oh, this is great.
I'm good. I'm a flower guy. I'm a dye flower guy.
I understand. Look, I like a nice spliff every now and then, you know, but for the most part,
love you guys.
It's awesome. And then, of course, we have our good friend Jeff Bracey, who is in his house doing his Jedi thing. What's going on, man? What's going on, Jeff?
Oh, okay, I was gonna go like Halloween theme, but if we're gonna do that, it's like, so Skywalker, you think that you can save your father, but he is my creature. I feel your hate rising. Take up your lightsaber and strike me down.
Luke.
Take your first steps upon the dark side.
Luke, do you know what I do to your father when he sleeps at night?
He's my bitch, Skywalker.
He's my bitch, Skywalker.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Darth Vader was going to fucking backstab the Emperor. Yeah, right?
I
told him, like, hey, Luke, like, join me and we could take him out and we'll rule the universe as father and son.
I lay my penis on Vader's forehead and post it on Instagram.
That second movie is so damn good. It just drives me crazy that the rest of Star Wars after that could never be as good.
What? You didn't like Return of the Jedi?
Liked Return of the Jedi, but like Empire is just better.
What?
It's speaking of greatest hits, you know what I watched last night? Fucking pissed me off. I was over at my homie Chris's place. Chris, by the way, much love to you, brother, man. If you're tuned in right now, he's a friend of mine. I told you jacked up his fucking leg. So I've been trying to like hang out with him as much as possible, you know, so we could just like, you know, pass the bong around, watch like some like sleazy old Italian horror movies and shit, right? And so he's like, "Oh hey, like they're streaming Alien Romulus," and
oh, please don't tell me that sucked.
all right,
I just did a mini review on that today. I posted on Twitter, and I also posted one on Hellboy. So I'll give you my impressions really quick. As for the Hellboy Crooked Man,
yeah,
it's a legitimate horror movie instead of being a superhero film,
Yes.
which I greatly appreciated. The trailers did
Absolutely.
it absolutely no favors.
Nope.
It went from looking like a
no shit.
it went from looking
Yep.
like a YouTube video to being legitimately my favorite live action Hellboy movie now.
Yes.
The guy who played Hellboy is awesome. All the characters are spot on. The
Dude, I was
effects
doubtful.
work.
I was doubtful about that dude. I was like, I don't think he's gonna be a good Hellboy.
I was
You know? I was
thinking,
like,
The
like,
movie
you get to
looked to
watch
me
it,
like
like-
it was a throwaway. Like,
no,
it was
dude, it's
No, he is-
no, dude.
Roger
good. Like,
Corman made.
There's
You know,
a
the
little
one that
bit
was
of
never intended to
CGI
be
in
released.
there.
That was just like, you know, you could buy it at the conventions.
Nope.
Believe
It
it,
was
believe
good.
I'm telling you, after a couple minutes, you get into it, and any of the flaws you don't really start to see them anymore. Like obviously they don't have like the $1 million costume.
You don't
but
need
the performance is so good you don't care anymore. And even
Yeah.
the CGI, even though the CGI is a little bit dated, they keep it to a minimum, and it's good enough for what they're doing. They're smart enough to like keep like there's a CGI spider that they keep mostly in the shadows, so you don't get too good a look at it to see
Right.
the flaws of it. And
Right.
the rest of the, and there are so many practical effects. And the characters, the interaction, and the cinematography are all top notch. Now, as for Alien Romulus,
I'm shocked. I'm
the
shocked.
director of Alien Romulus is a fan of the franchise, and you can see that.
Eddie Alvarez.
He's definitely trying bringing this back, true to form. And that's not to say I don't like Prometheus. I actually like Prometheus a great deal, but they do honor the lore. They even mention Prometheus in the film, but I did have a couple of issues with that. They kind of break the established mythos a little bit, and that the alien life cycle is sped up to a ridiculous degree because they truncate their time from 36 hours to about 36 minutes of fight or flight survival time in the film, which I thought was a mistake.
Right.
They could have built it up, but it does have plenty of tension.
Oh, but
But,
the member berries, dude.
Yes, it did. But
the
and
member
that's
berries.
that's a problem. That's another problem I have is he does too much fan service. Too much fan service in the film. And weirdly for me, the alien creature itself was the least scary thing in the film. This film is really about the face huggers, which are terrifying,
Great
and
creature
the
effects.
uncanny valley horror of the offspring creature. That was fantastic.
I thought so
But
too. A lot of people
but
didn't
they did
like
have-
that.
They do
But
have
the
good
Ian
characters.
Holmes thing, dude.
Are we still talking about Hellboy?
No,
No, I'm on to
you're
Alien
talking about
Romulus.
Alien
I'm saying,
Romulus.
and
Okay.
another strength of it is they do have good, likable characters, and I love the android Andy. Andy's awesome. He's a boss.
Well, but here's the thing. He's actually a simp. Because this movie's
He is a
clearly
simp.
made for
He's a
Zoomers,
simp.
right? And so all the characters are Zoomer age. And
Chimpanzee.
Zoomers can't identify with anybody that's not a Zoomer, right?
Mhm.
It's not their fault. This was done to them. You know, a lot of people bag on the Zoomers. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
this was done to them. Okay, and the fucking dynamic between her, the hot guy, and the robot, it's very clear to see. It's like he's a simp, he's a beta, then he gets upgraded, then he gets the new directive, and then he's just like, yeah, bitch, no, I'm not, I'm not being a simp here. Like, you can't have me for friendship and use that guy for sex. That's how I interpreted that whole. I'm being completely honest. I mean, you know how like horror movies have subtexts, right?
Yeah.
How they're like about one thing on the surface, but then there's like something underneath it that's going on, right? Often that's the character story, and that's part of the character story. But it's like, it's okay because he's bad when he's the Chad, and then he becomes a simp again, and it's like, okay, it's like sending a message to the Zoomers. It's like, be a simp.
Really?
That's my own personal interpretation of it. But here's the problem I have with the thing. It's a 4-star production Everything in that movie looks fantastic. The
Yeah.
sets are incredible. No fucking blue screen shit, real sets.
Set pieces,
effects, right?
cinematography.
The cinematography, top notch. But then you've got the member berries. And the member berries are part
Way
of the
too many.
plot.
Way too many.
And the biggest mistake they make is they have an android that looks exactly like Ian Holm from the first.
I actually like that. I like the Ash.
You thought the CGI was good on his face?
I'm a lot more forgiving of that than I think a lot of people. Like I like
it took me out of the movie.
I like Moff
completely.
Tarkin. I like Moff Tarkin in Rogue One. I know a lot of people's like, oh, he looks so weird. And it's like
It took me out of the movie. It
I was
took
like,
me out of
get
the movie.
into it,
When they
man.
had
Get
him
into
on
it.
a screen, right? It looked fine. When they're like looking at him on a black and white monitor, and it's just like, how do you make everything else in that movie look so incredible, and then you have because really he's the movie's villain, right?
Well, here's how.
Structure-wise, and it just why not cast an actor that looked like him? Why not just make it a completely different robot? That would have been a great cameo for like a really great actor.
No, for me, I dig it because this does end cap the Alien series, and I even enjoyed the nod that they made to Prometheus. You know, he actually makes that little connection there.
Every single movie in the fucking franchise. Get away from her, you bitch.
Well, that's the part I didn't like, the fan service being too much, but I like the Ian Holm model being in there. I thought that was a nice bookend to the series thus far.
Jeff, you know, I like you very much. Please forgive me for saying this, but you were completely insane for thinking that. If you think that looked good, I'm sorry. I didn't say it looked good. I politely disagree with you.
I said I'm very forgiving, just like the Luke Skywalker and the Mandalorian only looks so good. You can only do so much with human face with CGI because we are very familiar with what people actually look like, how our facial muscles move and all that. But I'm willing to forgive that for like something I think is legitimately cool in a movie.
Well, I will say this. I don't know about Alien Romulus. Like the Alien movies, like they've been going downhill for a minute.
It's really bad.
But I've been on a trip on watching like old horror movies until Halloween, right? Mm-hmm. So the last two movies I watched was The Fly and The Fly 2.
Nice.
Those are both they changed the actress out in The Fly 2. Yeah, they are fucking amazing, you know? But we also watched a new horror movie too, like the other night. It was called Daddy's Head, right?
Oh, haven't seen
and
that.
It's a low budget kind of movie. And dude, this is the most freaky fucking movie like I've seen so far, you know? And at first you think it's bad effects that they're using on the monster, you know, because every time he takes the form of the dude's dad, it looks like a photo like put on top of his face, you know, and then you realize that's a major part of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true too, James.
And I was like, holy shit, dude, like it is a really, really good movie. It was crazy.
That sounds great. That sounds cool. I'm always up for discovering new stuff. And that's the thing is right now the genre is bigger than it's ever been, largely because the genre is the star, right? You don't need movie stars. You don't need Tom Cruise. You don't need those.
That's true.
You don't, because the genre is the star. And if anything, if you have a Tom Cruise in a Mummy movie, for instance, well, gee, I know who's not dying, right? I know who's in absolutely no danger, who's going to make it all the way to the end of the film, at the very least, right?
Unless
you want that feeling where anybody could go almost at any moment.
Unless you get a delightful surprise like Deep Blue Sea, where they off Sam Jackson halfway through the film.
I will say this.
In hilarious fashion, too. And
like in the next 5 or 6 years, you're not going to worry about having Tom Cruise will be in every movie, and he'll look like he's 20 years old. A lot of dead actors are going to be in every movie.
That's one of the things that drove me crazy about Romulus. There's a shot in that where they're looking down a hallway, which has basically been turned into like an alien hive.
Mm-hmm.
It adds actually adds like 2 things to the mythology that I thought were good. One of them is a new stage in the process of the
yes,
the
we get to
Starts
see
with
the
the egg.
adult emerging.
right. So it's just like, you know how it's like we've always seen, it was established from the first movie. You got the egg, you got the facehugger that comes out of the egg. It impregnates the human being. It's actually, I think, it's kind of based on a story called the Voyage of the Space Beagle. I think that's where it was kind of first done. Then you get the chest burster, and then you got the full-grown alien. Well, there's a missing link there. How does it go from like this little fucking thing to like 7 feet tall? And so they answer that, and they do like a good job of it. Like basically, the creature goes into a kind of a cocoon. So it does shit like that. I really enjoy.
Yeah.
But there's a shot where it's like you're looking down the hallway. It's been turned into an alien hive, and you're seeing like the xenomorphs like kind of like moving forward. And they're not CGI; they're actors in costumes.
Ooh.
And this whole movie is like that. They made a point to do like as much as they could in camera, right?
Nice. I think I'm cool with that.
How the fuck? No, I mean that's what I'm saying. It's like they had everything. They had everything they needed to make an awesome movie, and they fucking blew it. I just found it deeply, deeply frustrating. Both. My friend Chris and I, we actually rank it, at least right now, at like the ass end of of the trilogy. I mean, of the series, right?
I'm gonna watch it.
Oh no way! No.
Yeah. What do you think is the worst, Jeff?
No, Alien Resurrection is horrific.
It sucks. It's not good.
Cockroach.
I thought it was all right.
But it has its moments.
I think, and that's my point about this one. I think Alien Romulus has a lot of good moments. I don't think it's a great movie, and I thought it was weird that the least intimidating creatures to me in the film were the aliens. The facehuggers were absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, they were great.
And the offspring was just a Lovecraftian horror come to life.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I was so expecting them to do something cool with Alien. I would have just kept it one Alien, I think, maybe. But I understand why they did multiples, because like one of my theses with the first movie is that the alien is actually very, very intelligent, and then James Cameron goes and turns it into a bug's nest.
Yes,
which I see why he did it.
Troopers.
I get it.
Yeah,
but I preferred the big chap was very, very smart, and I think it was just hunting and stalking them the whole time, and like that's how it ended up in the shuttle, the escape pod at the end.
Yeah.
It's really smart.
And on the
set? In this movie, I thought they were going to do that because the alien sets up, kind of like a sniper trap. And they're like, "Oh, she's on the other side of the door," Andy's going,
can't open the door.
We can't let her in. That's what it's waiting on. That's exactly.
That's
and I was like, see, showing how smart it is. But then that potential never gets realized in the film.
I always thought it was more terrifying, like with aliens being a hive. You know what I'm saying? Because it's almost like vampires. Because the more people they kill, the more vampires.
Well, there's a legitimate fear to that. But I think if you go back and watch the first Alien movie, the reason they're having so much trouble with it is this thing is smart. I think the whole time it's cruising around these air vents and it's watching them and it's listening to them. And that's why it gets Dallas so easily.
It can't be a perfect killing machine if it's stupid.
And look at how
unless it's relentless.
When it takes out Lambert, it puts itself intentionally in between her and the flamethrower.
We can't use the flamethrower.
Mm-hmm. And then, knowing the understanding, it's observed the humans enough to understand the relationship, or maybe this is something it gets out of the DNA when it transforms. And it, boom, takes him out.
Well, in Aliens Resurrection,
and it doesn't hurt the cat because it's looking at the cat and going, "Yeah, you're no threat to me."
Well, in Aliens Resurrection, didn't two aliens kill another alien to go ahead and get out of the cell?
They did show a lot more intelligence in that, but I think what they were playing off of there is that the aliens in Resurrection are getting some of Ripley's brains in these generations of clones.
I love that, though. I thought it was
But I did like that they showed the intelligence there because I like how they understood what the red button did. and then
Yeah.
later on they go ahead and hit the red button themselves on somebody.
Yeah.
Well, even a dog, like I know this because I train my dogs. Like I mean, if you show them something enough, they're going to know exactly what that is. You know what I'm saying? My dog knows his drawer where I keep all the balls, right?
I don't know if you know this. There was a scene that was written, but it was never filmed.
Yeah.
Because it would have ended the franchise with one movie.
You keep your
But it was a
dog's
pretty cool
balls in
idea
the
where
drawer?
like
What's the?
what's
what?
his name?
You
Ridley
talking about
Scott.
Pops? Wait, hold on a sec. Pops is on about something. What do you want about Pops?
Preston would
Keep my dog's balls in the drawer. In the drawer.
I'm listening to Jeff, and I just went right over my head. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, there was Ridley Scott was actually going to finish the film with the alien pulling Ripley's head off,
Yes.
and then mimicking her voice and
Yes.
putting out a distress call.
It would have been too dark.
Yeah, but that would have been too much like Predator. You know what I'm
Actually,
saying?
too
Like,
much
Yeah,
like
but-
Planet of the
Dude,
Vampires.
this is a decade before
What's up,
Predator,
Matt?
though.
What up, Matt?
What's up, guys?
Stop that.
Good to see you, my brother.
It can't be too much like Predator. Predator doesn't exist yet.
But remember, Alien is largely a ripoff of Planet of the Vampires. And at the end of Planet of the Vampires, their ship is like having trouble, and they're like, well, "Where are we going to go?" Well,
I always thought it was
the
more
planet over
inspired
there
by.
ends up being Earth.
I always thought it was more inspired by It, The Terror Beyond Space.
It's a combination of the two, but like the
Yeah.
this finding the alien ship with the giant skeleton, that's from Planet of the Vampires.
Oh, okay, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's a
I
combination.
forgot
of
about that.
both of those.
I got to put that on my Halloween watch list because, like Preston, I like
it's
to
so
watch a
good.
spooky movie every night.
Old movies are like
That's
so
not
fucking
true.
good,
That's
especially if you haven't seen them in a long
I found
time.
a Vincent Price movie I have never seen nor heard of. It's called The Mad Magician. I'm looking forward to diving into that.
The Mad
Shit, I don't
Magician-
think
even
I've
on
seen that
shit,
one.
It's
even
on
I
Tubi.
Check that
didn't
out.
know that shit.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's on Tubi, and it's probably going to be gone by the end of October. So check it out quickly.
We also rewatched Red Dragon, and that was way
Ooh.
better on the first,
Nice.
like on the second go.
There is now, of course, like we know. Actually, you know what? Hold on a second, because I've got this thing and I never use it, and
what's he
I
gonna do
really
here?
do want to. Because, folks, yes, we are going to be talking about Let's Scare Jessica to Death, but first we want to talk about the week in horror. I mean,
Aha.
I actually spent like, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours on this dope little fucking intro,
Nice.
and I never use it. So here we go, and I finally got a chance to use it.
The week in horror. The week in horror. Horror.
It's great.
See how hard I work to entertain you people. Anyway, there is. So the first thing is, holy shit, the #1 movie in America right now is Terrifier 3. This is historic.
Yes.
This is truly historic.
Saying it's
2,
redefining horror at the moment.
Well, it's redefining the financial viability of little indie horror movies that retain their integrity, that are loyal to their fan base, that don't sell out. You know, George Romero, very famously, his original screenplay for Day of the Dead was epic. It was going to be like he was going to finish off that series as a trilogy, and he was going to end it on a fucking really big note, right?
Then the studio got involved.
Then the studio gave him an ultimatum. The studio gave him an ultimatum. They're like, okay, you're going to need $25 million, $30 million to make this, and we'll do it. We'll back it, but you got to give us an R rating. Or you can make it unrated, right? Which is the same thing as X-rated, which means a lot of newspapers won't run the ads, a lot of theaters won't show the film. You can make it unrated, and we're going to cut the budget down to a quarter of what it was, like $5 million. And then you can do
that's how they
whatever
get
you
you.
want. And
Like, even Prince
chose
did that.
the second way.
that it's like it's selling yourself into slavery whenever you sell your IPs to like studios and fucking producers, publishers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
here's the
it's
thing.
death. What?
Yeah, I mean, now people can make movies and they can put in as much gore as they like, and here's the R-rated cut and here's the unrated cut. Right? We've been doing that for decades, but that was not around when he made that. It wasn't around when the 1990 remake of Night of the Living Dead came out, right? So it was just like, well, why even bother shooting that stuff if nobody's ever going to see it?
No, right? You're right. Like the world was a completely different.
Yeah, now The Walking Dead, what happened was it was the forensics TV shows. Because the forensics TV shows, they medicalized gore. Right?
I think it's more of, I think COVID and the internet has a lot to do with the downfall of publishers, producers, and all that kind of crap, right?
Movie theaters are closing. Movie theater,
exactly.
Movie theater by me closed in September.
And there's so many indie websites with indie movies where you can go and just watch it. Advertising is easy now. Nobody watches TV or listens to the radio anymore. They're on the computer constantly.
Yeah.
You know?
But look at this. This is fucking insane.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris.
I mean, it's a fucking Joker 2 is in third or fourth place.
No,
Leonie's like, that's how you got this Joker.
Fucking indie movie.
Is this
what the fuck?
Is this the first time a horror movie has been number one since, say, The Exorcist?
No.
This is the first time an X-rated movie has gotten this opening weekend. It's the biggest opening weekend of all time. And Leonie was saying that the only thing that sucked about it is there's more money, more problems. However, and that being said, it was a lot of the unions he had to fuck with during the filming of this, which was kind of a new thing for him. But he got to spend more time with his actors, and he also had to spend more time with the shots. So he said that was kind of cool. And they had the guy that did Passion of the Christ special effects, the gore for that.
Nice.
He got to do this. So it was kind of a
do the gore effects.
I mean, he get in there and kind of slap it around a little bit.
Sure, of course.
I've also heard Art the Clown here wants to play the Joker for DC.
He's been playing the Joker for 10 years. If you go check out his YouTube channel, he's been doing it for 10 years. He's
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Marvelous video on YouTube. Did a deep dive in Art the Clown's anatomy.
I've seen that.
Yes, I saw that.
I haven't seen it,
yeah. Because that's one of the things I really like about the new movie. One of the things I really like about the new film is that it expands the lore. And it leans into the religious horror aspects, where it's just you're dealing with fucking demons. They actually finally come out and use the word demon.
Oh, really? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I still got to go watch it. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, because they established certain things when this was just a YouTube project, that Art was a supernatural creature, but I felt like when they got to the movies, they kind of started over. I felt like Art was just a regular slasher until the end of the film, and then we start to understand more of that because we get in the second film when you got that weird, creepy little clown girl.
Yes,
and so I'm excited to hear that they're expounding on that even further.
That's cool. It's easier to understand that movie series if you understand that Terrifier wasn't the movie that Leone wanted to make. He wanted to make Terrifier 2.
Yeah.
And it's obvious, and you can see this now once you know that, and you look at Terrifier 2, and you're like, oh, that's where the Terrifier is introduced. The Terrifier is the Funhouse. Right? So that's why it's called the Terrifier series. But there's no Terrifier in the first Terrifier. So he made the movie that he could, and of course it was a surprise hit, and then he made the movie that he wanted to make. And so I think in the first one, basically he's like the Shape from Halloween, right? Where it's like he's supernatural, but you don't realize that he's supernatural until the very, very end of the film. And that's when you realize, oh shit, he can't be killed. You're screwed. We're fucked.
He's going to make
right?
like 2 more for sure. Like he said, I got
actually,
2 movies left. That's pretty cool.
I'd actually say I'm not entirely sure that he's supernatural or realizes he's supernatural.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because he
100%.
kind of has that little bit at the end of the first movie where like the cops come on and he's like looking like, damn it, I was in the middle of something. And then he kills himself.
Yeah.
Right.
But in the second film,
I don't think he knew he was coming back though.
Yeah, I don't think he knew either. That's why they
retcons the first one.
So here's why I'm going to say I don't think so, because when he wakes up in the morgue in the second film, they expound on the scene a little bit more.
Yeah,
he reaches back and he starts feeling the back of his head.
Yep.
He's like, "Oh, that's kind of weird. I should be dead." That's the kind of
That's a
impression I got from
retcon.
Yeah, but I don't.
Saying.
I mean,
that's a retcon at the end of the original Terrifier. If you're like me and you kind of think of every film,
but it's being retconned by the guy who created it.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Right. But
I don't think he knew.
Again,
like, maybe he did, but I mean, he's psychotic. So
yeah. Or he thinks it's a joke. Like the
I
whole
think
time, he's like,
I think he's just giving us a little bit more information with that,
Well,
and I don't agree with every retcon an author makes. Like George Lucas has made some retcons. Like, that wasn't a great idea, man.
Midichlorians. Yeah, that was a great fucking idea.
I thought that was retarded.
One of the things that's great about this too is that it's a Christmas slasher, right?
Yeah.
And if it's a Christmas slasher, what's it going to reference? It's going to reference Black Christmas.
I was thinking of the same movie up in the window, right?
Yep.
He survived the most famous serial killer since Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, let's take a little look at the trailer here. And by the way, folks, if you're watching us and we start showing clips and they yank us, you can still find us on Pilled and I think Facebook.
Rumble,
Rumble, all that shit.
We'll be everywhere else. Madness Comic Network. Just
absolutely. Yo,
so
Sam,
we
what's up, man?
just playing on X as well.
I have no clue. It's everywhere, worldwide.
All the platforms.
Yeah, and then Lauren Lavera is back, and she's terrific. Really, really good.
5-year anniversary is coming up.
Nice.
I think a lot of people would really like to.
If I were
after all this time,
wait, hold on.
want to know what it's like to be in the presence of that kind of evil.
Oh yeah, that's the Art the Clown fangirl, right?
Oh god.
Because naturally, since Art the Clown has become like an urban legend, and they think that it's a serial killer, right? They don't realize that it's like this demonic entity, and so basically he becomes like the darling of like the true crime podcasting community.
That's where I thought they were going to go with the little brother in film 2.
Right.
What goes through your brain when he's close enough to you? You feel his breath.
What goes through your brain? Something like that.
And
that guy's so good.
Awesome, dude.
He is, gonna catch him at peak Lear here.
I mean, the things he does with his eyes are just amazing.
His performance in this, here's the thing. This solidifies Art the Clown. He's on that Mount Rushmore next to Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees, Hockey Mask Jason Voorhees, and those other slasher characters. The and of course, The Shape / Michael Myers, right?
No, he's definitely earned his spot on the shelf with all those other guys.
But here's the thing. Anybody can put on the hockey mask. Anybody can put on the William Shatner mask, right? But, Freddy Krueger is Robert Englund, right? Yeah. And David Newton Howard is Art the fucking Clown.
Well, we learned that with Doug Bradley in The Pinhead. Nobody can fill that role.
Because if you watch the original YouTube videos, and then you watch the All Hallows Eve movies where he comes in as the actor. Yep. They had a different actor for Art back in the YouTube days. And he was good, but man, this guy owns it now.
Not this fool.
But he wasn't extraordinary.
And this guy's been playing the Joker for 10 years. You know what I mean? He's born to play Joker. He's been playing the Joker. He's very intimate with that character. He said with art, there's a lot of Joker in there. There's a lot of Freddy. There's a lot of Jason. There's a lot of Michael Myers. It's a nod to everything. And watching that, you're like, oh fuck. And then Leone, he wears that on his sleeve, and he said he's got at least 2 more in him. And they said, well, what movies do you want to? Any big tentpoles you want to do? He's like, I want to take a crack at Nightmare or Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. He says, I have something that I could bring to the table for those franchises.
Oh, done deal. Yes. He can write his own ticket now because this movie is Ichiban #1 at the box office, and it was made for $2 million fucking dollars.
So you could expect him. He's probably if he wants to, like you could probably assume that he could get either one of those. They're going to go to him, you know. And
he kept it indie.
What do you think that's going to do to the mainstream movie industry, though? Because you remember when they did Deadpool?
Yeah,
and Deadpool 2, I think it was, and it came in at like half the budget of Wolverine. What Wolverine was, Old Man Logan was budgeted for. So they went ahead and they told the director of Old Man Logan, they said, okay, we're cutting your budget by half. So because they can do it with Deadpool, why can't you do it?
Well, that's what Hollywood does. Every time they see something that can be done cheaper, they turn into Roger Corman. But if you've got people who can do it, look at Godzilla -1, $15 million for that. And it's amazing. It's absolutely.
It's all the director and the artist, the crew. You know what I mean? If they can pull it off, like with this guy and like Kostanski's, they have they got their little crew. They got their unit. You know what I mean? That they move with. They have to have the unit, the shared unit that you move with, that your Spartans. You know what I'm talking?
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, you don't have shit.
David Gordon Green needs to stay the fuck away from any horror franchise. After Halloween ends, he can go straight up figgity fuck himself, and needs to stay away. Needs to stay the fuck away from horror. Go create your own shit. Create your new shit.
But Brian,
don't do fucking.
It's Halloween 20, right?
What was that?
So it is Halloween 20, right? I'm gonna take the words out of your mouth.
No, right. But that was a fucking slap in the face. Do you know what I'm saying? Because with Halloween Kills, it's like people were bitching about that. And that's when I was saying, like, this is like Halloween 19. Like, you realize that, right? Like, what part of Halloween 19 do you not understand? Like, we were
Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie. His take was worse than that.
Oh, you know what's really funny?
I actually like that one.
You would appreciate this, Matt. You would appreciate this.
I can't stand that psychedelic head trip of a
Part 2
bastardization of Halloween.
My boy,
big old beard coming out of the mask, like Shatner's throwing up a beard, like.
My boy Chris, Chris said that there is a fan edits of those movies that are much better because they cut Sherry Moon Zombie, his chick that's in it.
That chick
every
cannot
single one of
act,
his
dude.
movies, every movie dead. It's like you look at like Dave Bautista, right? You look at his very first movie and you're just like, oh man, that guy can't act for shit. He watched it and went, oh my God, I can't act for shit. Felt embarrassed and then went and took some fucking acting lessons. And
it looks like the dude has cancer now.
And learned and got better. That bitch must think that she's fantastic. She must think she's fucking Betty Davis or some shit that.
You got to blame Rob because she's his wife and he puts her in everything.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like
she's gonna leave him the second he can't put her in a fucking movie.
Oh no, she's not getting any younger. Like her acting isn't getting any better.
That relationship is not going to end well. is what I'm saying. But
if she's smart, she'll stick with him because he's a rock star.
Trust me, she's smart, dude.
He's kind of Rob Zombie. He's kind of Rob Zombie, Brian. You know what I mean?
She ain't leaving that dude.
Kind of a household
yeah, and then that's another thing you see with a lot of movies these days. You'll see that there's like 3 or 4 different production companies. It's not like just one like it used to be. It's like a bunch of little ones kind of like
Yeah,
mobbing
I
up.
noticed that.
Right?
3, huh?
I saw him today.
Who? How can you be sure it was really him? I could feel it. Who is this Santa? He's scaring my kid.
Yeah, he's scaring me too.
Hey, Santa's handing out presents!
You can see so much Joker in this right here.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like absolute
Why would he
Joker,
come
dude.
back here?
Right.
Even if he was
This is
alive,
how the
which he
absolute Batman
isn't.
verse is just like a Terrifier
You
verse.
want to get as far away from
It
his
looks
as far away
badass.
from you?
Absolute Batman.
You both know this
It's
is
good,
Oh,
dude.
they brought the little brother back too. That's great.
Yes, and the little pale girl is not in this, I'm sorry to say, but he has another companion, like a tag team partner.
Although I will say, I will miss the little girl because she was creepy as all get out.
I know. No, she was great.
She was the
Is
guy.
it the deformed chick? Is she his tag team partner in this one?
Yeah, Victoria.
From the first
Yeah.
one. I had a feeling it was going to be her.
Oh,
That was my-
okay, the
my
one that
prediction.
birthed his head at the end.
Yep.
Right.
And
And
the
this
little girl,
is
the Harley
one-
Quinn was the guide. You know what I mean? I think she was the reason why she had to be there to prove that he was still human. That was my whole concept, you know.
Well, that's
And
interesting because like
took
she's
him to purgatory, and then he was birthed again after that.
because we know from the clips, the newspaper clippings and things, like she was the victim of a killing herself, and then she's
Yeah.
come back
Yeah.
as this thing.
from the circus.
Right.
From the circus.
Which is why some people think that Art is Sienna's father.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly, they're going to go into
Yeah,
his origin in the next movie too. That's what Howard was saying.
I mean,
Ooh, that'd be
that's what
sweet.
they were alluding to.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see how that's going to play out.
I have a feeling that 4 is going to take us to hell because we actually see hell in this new one, and that's not really a spoiler because it's right here in the trailer.
Still buried there, isn't it?
Might be the only thing that could stop them.
Jericho for all the Jerichoholics.
Nice.
What?
It's Burke.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He
His name's Burke.
is a guy who has always been a fan. I remember when in the olden days, right, when wrestling was at its absolute creative peak, which was like the
90s.
WCW era of like, I don't know, like 96, 97, 98, like that era, the Attitude Era.
Mhm.
That was when I realized that he was cool because he introduced a character that was like his manager, sort of, and he named him Ralphus. The reason he named him Ralphus is because Ralphus is the name of the villain's evil, like hunchbacked assistant in Blood-Sucking Freaks.
Yes.
Blood-Sucking Freaks
Nice.
is his all-time favorite movie. So he's
That's awesome.
he's one of us for
It's a real
sure.
stand.
This radio show is pretty good too. This podcast.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I mean, the thing about Chris Jericho, not to get completely off subject, but Chris Jericho, when he was a face, like like one of the good guy wrestlers, he was boring as fuck. Then they turned him into a heel, and it was like, where was this guy all the time? He just, I mean, it didn't take him long. Like almost immediately, you realize, oh shit, like this is like a talent on the level of like The Rock or
Sometimes all it
dare I
takes is
say Dusty Rhodes, dare I say Ric Flair.
Stone
some
Cold.
guys can be
Dusty
themselves, and
Rhodes.
for other guys, like they just got to find their gimmick, and they really hone in on it. Like remember the period of Mankind, you know, like Mick Foley just
No. Dude
he
was
dialed in
everything.
so hard to that.
He was Dr. Love. He was Mick
Oh, Dude
Foley,
Love.
He was
Dude Love.
Mankind. He was Cactus Jack.
Kane.
I know, but like Mankind was when he ruled, man. Like everybody was watching him when he was
Dude,
Mankind.
that death match with Kane and the Undertaker and Mankind
Oh,
The
jeez.
Hell in
was
Cell and
insane,
the
dude.
Yeah.
That's the one where he said his front tooth went through his nasal cavity and came
It
out
did.
his nose.
And he felt it. He felt it with his tongue, and he said, like, let me give the fans a little extra something. And he pushed it with his tongue to make sure it popped out of his nose. I got to meet him at GalaxyCon in 2018, and I was like,
he's a lunatic, man.
Like I got his autograph and stuff, and I was
he's just committed.
And he was like, "Thanks for remembering." I was like, "Thanks for remembering, dude. Who could forget you? Holy cow!"
No shit.
On a stretcher,
somebody
got off the stretcher, came back. That dude's crazy, man.
Yes. Well, I mean, look, crazy and stupid are not mutually exclusive. Do you know what I'm saying?
Those are requirements.
It's like the stuntmen. They're like that too. And you know, I've met some wrestlers and talked to them. And like there was this thing that went on at CBGB's back like around 2000 or so, right before ECW shut down. And there was a ball, like all the ECW wrestlers were all up in there. Really nice guys and smart, like smarter than I mean, they didn't seem stupid. And I'm like, damn, so you guys aren't stupid. So that leaves like crazy and brave, maybe. Right.
Well, let's also add that, like, Mick Foley,
and
they're just showmen. You know what I'm saying?
Mick Foley is clearly the toughest human being that has ever lived.
I don't know, dude. Like, you remember when McMahon, you know, after he got all jacked up, he ran into the ring and he snapped his femur, right? And he, instead of getting a stretcher out there, he just said, on with the show.
But that's the thing. It's like he's a bodybuilder, and bodybuilders.
I mean, that is impressive, but I'm still putting.
No, that's the thing, though. He wasn't a bodybuilder. He just like pushed steroids into his body. You know,
he tore two of his quads at one time too.
Oof.
He became that big within a year or two. Like, it was crazy. I don't think his bones could support that amount of muscle.
You know, it's funny that you say that because I remember one of those matches when he got all jacked up and he was in there. Somebody had a sign in the crowd said, "Vince is on the juice."
Very obviously. I believe every bad thing I've ever heard about that guy. Every bad thing I've ever heard about him, I believe.
I do too. But I mean, he's also shit. You don't know if that was planned. If he planned all that shit. You know?
Well, I mean, the smartest thing he ever did was turn himself into a wrestling heel.
I don't really care about Vince. You know who got lucky and came out with the gimmick early in his career that stuck forever? The fucking Undertaker had gold, bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That motherfucker had for gold. He never had to change nothing. Even when he went to the American Biker dude, he didn't have to do that.
He didn't have to.
He was a medieval sorcerer, like a gangster Undertaker, a biker, and
then Kane that came out of that.
Zombies.
Like you remember the days when they were really sticking with the. Remember the days when they were really sticking with the horror stick and like Paul was doing that. He was doing that terrible voice. Oh, Undertaker!
Yeah. Oh, Undertaker! Yeah.
That awesome voice.
Then he finally starts talking like himself. He got tired of doing that.
He became a horror TV show host.
But come on, check
exactly. Like Elvira, like Vampira, like one of those people. Yeah.
That gimmick took him through something WrestleManias, you guys. Who else did that?
Yeah, wrestling went from from wrestling to actually just a whole big show. It was fucking insane.
Yeah.
It was great.
Like it reminds me of that episode of South Park, you know, where they were like, okay, we're going to teach you how to wrestle. You know, and the dude's like, okay, you get on top of this dude, like, wrestling, you know, like
that's my move.
I mean, because you're not wrong, Pop.
Like old wrestling to a millennial friend of mine. It was like Dusty Rhodes. He's like, wait a second, how is that fat guy beating up all these like yoked guys? I'm like, because it's the American dream. He's got superpowers.
That's right, man.
Bionic elbow.
Right.
Nobody can fucking stand up for that shit.
The Ultimate Warrior and Sting were some of the first bodybuilders that were led into professional wrestling.
Yes, I know.
The Ultimate Warrior might have been legitimately insane.
Yeah.
Oh, he fucked his career up. I don't know if that's insane or not.
Big muscles.
I'm just talking about his on YouTube. It's awesome.
I love listening to the Ultimate Warriors promos because nobody spouts the bizarreness that guy did. He's like,
pumps it up.
Hogan, you're going to be on that plane, and the moon is telling me to nosedive the plane, and I'm nosediving the plane.
Yeah.
It's like,
you couldn't even
what
wrestle.
are you even on about?
You know what's really fucked up about that though? Like he believed every bit of that. Like
that's what I'm saying. He's legitimately insane.
All that conviction, man. All that conviction.
Oh, he just looked so intense every shot.
Looking forward to the best Christmas ever, filled with fun, smiles, and laughter.
Yeah, and then of course the music in these movies is always great because it's very Carpenter-esque.
Yeah,
right. It has like all three of the movies have like this. It's all by the same composer too. It's like a cool like retro new retro wave. Yes, I said it right. Yeah, that's the genre right now, which is basically mostly a combination of John Carpenter and Tangerine Dream.
Yeah.
I mean, Ichiban, number one. But yeah, I'm all butthurt because, you know what's really what sucks even more? Yeah, man, I had to like I already bitched about this to Preston. I went expecting a Art the Clown popcorn bucket. Instead, what do I get? I get this fucking cup, which is okay. But you know what the real insult to injury is? And I just noticed this the other day. There's a little picture of the popcorn bucket.
Oh, what?
Here's the popcorn bucket that you won't be getting. Like, fuck you.
Sometimes a little bit of something.
No, maybe that's coming in Terrifier 4. You did that in Terrifier 4, Brian. Terrifier 4.
God damn it. Now I gotta buy that shit off of fucking eBay for like $500,000 or some shit, motherfuckers. But I'm guessing that they didn't buy any of them because they at the theater they seemed surprised at the turnout. Like you could tell they're not used to seeing people packing into a movie theater
They're like, what the fuck? They're like trying to popcorn and shit.
Really? Like they seemed like, and then of course it's all like on like opening night, it's all like the hardcore horror freaks.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I bought a ticket early was because I figured, this is going to be like one showing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe two showings. No, this movie is actually like in general release. And I started to realize that when I went out at the end of the film, leaving and hearing the movie playing in the adjacent cinema. So they were playing it on a while, dude. Screen. It's just like, what the fuck?
It's like, yeah, I'd say at least another month, dude. I mean, I'm gonna try to go this weekend sometime, but
amazing. Yeah, if you have a chance to go see this in the theater, definitely do, because you're going to be tripping out over, like, you're going to be sitting there going, I can't believe I'm watching this shit.
No, wait a minute. Back up a minute. You say
for real.
Back up a second. You say you bought your ticket early, right?
Yes.
Okay, so a whole bunch of people bought tickets early. The fucking theater went, holy shit, we need another fucking theater, we need to open up another one to this. And they did it because the demand is what sells, okay? Yep. That's where they're going to make their money. If people wanted it and that thing sold out quick, hell yeah, they opened up another theater and show it.
But I think it also shows the state of the film industry right now here in America, because people are just starved for entertaining movies. They're tired of getting lectured to and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, see, and so I'm saying the theater can't wait till the reviews.
No.
They need to get people in seats now before people start talking shit, if they're going to talk shit.
I mean, the reviews had come out, right? It was because it had. Here's the thing: the remake of The Crow, for instance, that was not screened at film festivals. It was not screened for critics. They even had like an embargo where, like, if you talk about, if you're like a professional critic and you talk about this movie, we'll sue you or something.
Is that film actually a remake or just a?
It's a remake,
iteration?
and it's an absolute abortion.
But because they changed the character names, though.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. It's terrible.
No, it's Shelley Webster and Eric Draven.
That's what makes it the remake.
Her name is. I could have sworn I saw the trailer. They called her something else.
No, it's and she looks like she's special. You know
because if they're doing it all gothic like that, I would have just had it because all the other movies.
I know
it's not gothic.
New characters.
That's the thing. It's not gothic. He doesn't, and he looks like a fucking SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: like, he could have been a good Crow.
I don't know who it's for, to be perfect.
Halfway through the movie, he actually he was a decent Crow.
Oh, he's a great actor.
Yeah,
he's like the
Skarsgård
one thing that's not wrong. He's the one thing that's not fucked up about that movie. He's very good. You know, I mean, like, I realized what a talent that guy was in Barbarian, because in the beginning of that, right, for like the first 20 minutes, the entire first act of the movie, you're like, oh my, like, this guy's like if you were a chick, you'd be like, I've just kind of bumped into like the perfect fucking guy, right?
If you get a chance, there was a series he did. The first thing I saw him in was a series called Hemlock Grove.
Yeah.
He was very good in that. And then after seeing him in It, I was completely sold on him.
He's brilliant. I can't wait to see him in
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Boy Kills World. He was fucking.
I want to watch that, dude. Oh, I've been waiting to see that.
I don't think it's great, but it's good.
Let's face it, like all those.
That's how he got all
to be entertained and good.
It's an incredible action movie.
All those Skarsgårds are good. You know, Stellan, Alexander, Bill, all the Skarsgårds have just.
Gustav don't get no love. He just
that's right. Oh man, his Floki is amazing.
Oh, for sure.
This movie, man, the last 30 minutes. I like that art. The first one you showed with the black and white ink. The last 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's
last
cool.
30 minutes, dude. Fuck, that was where it was at, bro. For me.
Yes.
I was like, damn.
This is a slow burn, right?
Yeah.
That's the first thing you need to understand going into Let's Scare Jessica to Death. This was made this came out in 1971. And so it was kind of like at the end of The Summer of Love. And you'll notice that the characters in this are basically like, they don't seem like hippies. They seem more like ex-hippies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we got our shit together kind of, man.
No, you totally get that.
Right. But they're still the kind of people who after dinner might be passing a joint around. Right.
Or you could crash here. You could crash here tonight, man. That's cool.
Yep.
No problem with inviting a stranger to live with you.
But no, you've been sleeping here for like a few days. You could stay here another night. I trust you, man.
And that's the thing. They invite her, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
They invite her to stay. First you got to talk about Zora Lampert. She is fucking phenomenal in this movie. It is really one of the great horror heroine performances, I think. Now, it says in one of the trailers that the inspiration for Let's Scare Jessica to Death is The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. And
I can see that
is completely inaccurate. Turn of the Screw is I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, if you've ever seen the movie The Innocents. It's the story of the governess that's taking care of a boy and a girl, and they she keeps seeing ghosts, but you kept guessing, like, wait, like, you're like, she saw a ghost. No, she didn't see a ghost. She just definitely saw a ghost. No, well, maybe she didn't. And it never answers the question, right? It never answers the question. And Henry James was always asked, because the story was famous in his own lifetime. He was asked, So like, what's the deal, right? Because you're the writer, so you have to know. The reader doesn't need to know, but you need to know. And he said, if you have to ask that question, if you have to ask, are the ghosts real or not, then you completely misunderstand the entire point of the story.
Mm-hmm.
That it's there to fuck with you. And maybe he does know, and maybe he did know, but he was keeping it to himself. This is similar in the respect that it's about this woman played by Zora Lampert, Jessica, who's just come out of a psych ward, right? And her boyfriend and his best friend are driving her.
Husband,
I forget where this takes place. I know it was shot in Connecticut, but as a kid, I always thought it was shot around here where I live, right, upstate New York.
So that's where I suppose it was.
What was that?
That's what I suppose it was, because they were coming from New York City.
Right.
So I figured they just moved upstate.
Right. And that's what I always just assumed. But the place where they shot this was in Connecticut. And this house,
nice house,
right, which is this amazing Gothic Victorian style
little character
house, it's actually still there.
Every cool house needs a turret.
Yeah, right.
And that is one hell of a fucking turret. And then it has a staircase on the outside that goes nowhere.
For the ghosts to travel.
Right.
Okay, the Winston house.
Right.
House, I mean.
Very, very, very much so. And that is a real house, right? I mean, you know it is when you see it, because first of all, you realize this is a low budget horror movie. They're not building this fucking thing, right? And then when you're in it, it feels like a real house. It doesn't feel like a set, right?
You can tell by the camera placement and the camera movements that the whole thing is shot within this structure.
Yes. Yeah, there it is today, actually.
Ooh, wow.
Still there, unoccupied. Let me actually run a real quick video, because I just found this really interesting.
Let's go shoot a movie there right now. Let's go.
There's an entire online.
Still be a great location.
Fuck yeah! Look at that shot.
There's an entire online community of people that go to locations and do like then and now videos.
Very cool.
And I actually have a book on Hammer horror locations. For one of these days, I still haven't been to England. One of these days I'm going to England. And when I do, what am I going there for? I'm going there to fucking see some Hammer locations and to stay at the fucking, I think Oakley Manor it's called, right? It's because it's a hotel. And that's where they shot the reptile. That's where they shot Dracula, Prince of Darkness. That's where they shot Plague of the Zombies. They shot like 1 million Hammer movies in that location. And they've actually had Hammer horror conventions there. Which, oh man, that would be the shit. Oh yeah, check this out. And this is so great too, man, because this is drone photography. And I still remember the first time I saw drone photography, I was just surprised at how beautiful it was.
I mean, with the stabilizers they have on drone gimbals now and the 4K cameras, yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, they're used to death now. Like every horror movie opens up kind of like this, right? At least the ones that are being made these days.
Oh yeah.
Because when I first started shooting some drone stuff, you used to have to go into After Effects and stabilize the footage. But now you don't have to worry about that stuff.
Right? I mean, like when I first saw it, it was actually the Standing Rock protest. It was the first time I saw it. I was like, God damn! Like this just is like smooth.
Clean.
And that's the great thing. It's smoother than the shots that you can get with a helicopter, and it's as smooth as anything you can get with a jib. It's beautiful.
Right? And cheap too. I mean, that's the thing that's so crazy about the time.
Well, we used drones to shoot the Possibly Road Trip trailer. Chased the car down the highway while it was dragging a chainsaw.
Right.
We added sparks in and with After Effects.
Oh, that thing is so fucking.
Because like when I was making short films.
And
yes, indeed.
Yeah, man.
When I was first making short films, and I was like looking into getting drones. When the drones first came out, like DJI had the best thing, and that was like $1,000. So I was like, I'm gonna wait.
Right, because the technology is gonna get better, and it's gonna get cheaper too.
Absolutely.
Ryan, what's the worst? What's up, James? What's the worst slasher movie of the 2000s? Valentine with David Boreanaz was a piece of shit. I wasn't crazy about it. I'm not really about.
It wasn't the worst thing ever made.
I never seen it. I seen My Bloody Valentine with Jensen Ackles. That one was pretty good. 3D.
That was surprisingly good for a remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that.
I got the glasses.
I did see the original
in the garage.
At the Alamo Draft House with Joe Bob Briggs. That was a fucking bonus.
Oh, and if you want to get on the other side, check out. I know he's in Friday the 13th, but you also might want to check out Cry Wolf because Jared Palicki's in that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not.
That's a good horror thriller.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean that's a hell of a location, right? Right off the bat, if like that's where you're setting your atmospheric horror movie, that's already half of the battle won, pretty much. And the photography, of course, in this is beautiful. This is one of those rare horror films that takes place almost exclusively in the daytime, right? When you think about it, most horror movies naturally night is the time for monsters and slashers to do their things. But this, when you have horror films that are mostly set in the daytime, they tend to have a feeling of a waking nightmare.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is something that I would like to see a little bit more of this. This is why I like films like Midsommar, which was really good.
Oh yeah, that too.
But in the 70s, they were willing to do a lot more of these sorts of movies in the daylight, which made it just hit different. It feels a little bit more real to you, like when bad things can happen while the sun's out.
Or Dawn of the Dead.
It goes from whimsical to
It's happening. This shit's real. For me, it's more real.
Exactly.
But you got to nail it. It's either you nail it or don't. If you nail it, then you're gonna get fucking nightmares from it. Because I know I like, again, it feels like you're in a dream. Like Midsummer's a good one for me. That felt that way. Also, Dawn of the Dead. That was the first one. And also is Last House on the Left. That one.
Yes.
And I always like the opening sequence in Jeepers Creepers too, when the kids out in the cornfield, man. Like that was spooky.
That's based on a true story, guys. Really, really happened.
Jeepers Creepers.
Just the intro to the first movie.
Oh,
well, the director.
I was wondering. What they do with that gargoyle anyway?
Dumping the bodies under the church in a hole.
That's sweet.
Yes, I remember hearing about that now.
Yeah, scary as fuck.
Zora Lampert is the name of the actress in this, and watching this, you're just like, how did she not end up being like a movie star? I think she was more because I know she was New York based, right? And so New York is one of those places where it's like where there's not really a movie industry, but there's a little bit. There's a TV industry, and there's a theater industry. So I'm guessing she was mostly a theatrical actress. I grew up knowing her as the Goya woman. She was in TV commercials for Goya products, which are, beans and like stuff that was marketed to the Hispanic American community. And the catchphrase was Goya, Oh boy, yeah. And so
well, somebody thought hard about that one.
So it's kind of like James Darren, who's in Return of the Living Dead. I grew up knowing him as the Pathmark guy because he would do these TV commercials for a chain of supermarkets called Pathmark. And yeah, it was just strange for me to like come across this movie as like a little kid and suddenly see her in there and to take her seriously just like that. I think she was like in a John Cassavetes movie or two.
For those who aren't in the know, 90% of working actors are only doing commercials because that's just the kind of work they get. You're only seeing
there's only a handful that do
Yeah.
actual movies.
And if you have
it's a very competitive field, so a lot of people who make their living acting, you'll see them in commercials, and that's just it.
I got to say though, when we interviewed people for the Nicky the Piper role for the Rockabilly Road Trip thing, dude, they have some really, really talented motherfuckers like you have never heard about.
It's kind of sad.
Oh, absolutely.
When you think about it, it's kind of heartbreaking when you think about it. You know,
It is.
artists out there that can, you know,
There's a veterans theater down the street from me where I volunteer. You know, I make mocktails and shit, and you know they basically bus in actors and actresses from the city to come and perform plays that are written by veterans, and then they'll do like some summer stock shit like that, and there's plenty of really, really talented people out there.
Well,
if they only had the initiative to go ahead and do what your boy did with Sling Blade,
yeah,
I got a feeling like you'd see some amazing movies coming out.
One of the big problems is it's a wildly oversaturated field, and you can understand why. Like, what a fun career to have. And so, and on top of that, Henry Cavill, who's big now, he kept talking about he's got the movie star good looks, he's got a good personality, he's easy to work with, he's very talented, and he almost quit because he kept nailing all these auditions, and they kept telling him, "Oh, you're great." He's like, "Oh, great, did I get the role?" It's like, "Nah, we're really looking for like a name." It's like, "Well, how am I ever going to get to be a name
Exactly.
if I cast me?"
Well, it's like when I went out for my art jobs, like when I was a kid, and I was like, "Hey, and they were like, well, we're looking for somebody with experience."
Yeah.
Yep. Always.
The eternal conundrum.
Yes. And so it's like, if you even know who an actor is, they're doing very well compared to the vast majority.
Right? Yeah, but you know what that proved to me though is that it's not about talent. Like anything nowadays, it's not about talent. It's about who you know or who you're willing to blow.
Yes. Jerry Butler, the male porn star from the 80s. This is like back in when they were still made as movies, right? Like your average skin flick had the production values of your average, like say, like a Roger Corman.
There's a plot.
And a plot.
They put some legitimate effort into it.
Yes.
Not just get the dog bowl.
I missed that. I can't.
They had,
I can't watch
they had story. They had character arcs. They had production value.
It's just no. Give me a little fucking plot. Give me a little fucking story.
Yeah, but you know what? You're right though, because I heard that too. Like a lot of actors and actresses back then went into porn because they want to act. And they couldn't get into actual Hollywood.
Yes,
and the people in Hollywood would look down on them because they did porn.
And Jerry Butler said that because he was considered one of like the actors, like one of the actors that could have been like a mainstream actor. He says that Warren Beatty told him like, "You're one of the best actors I've ever seen." How true that is, I don't know. But he ended up marrying, I think, Lisa Loring, who played Wednesday Addams in the old Addams Family.
Here's the fact. Like, Ron Howard to fund his first movie, like he talked to his wife, like they seriously considered like doing porn. Like Richie Cunningham does blah blah blah.
Yeah.
No, serious to get the money to go ahead and fund his first project.
Yeah, Roger Corman came to the rescue.
It's hard to get the funding, man.
Eat My Dust is the name of it. I remember that movie.
I was watching an interview with Viggo Mortensen for his new movie. He just got lucky, right? And he was on Nerd of the Rings channel, and I like never see interviews with the guy. You know, I think he's one of the best actors of all time.
Really interesting, yeah.
But he was promoting the new Western, and he said, "Yeah, some lady from Mexico just paid for the whole fucking movie." You know,
wow.
And he had like an actor, the main actor, and everything, but dropped out. And so he's like, "Fuck, I got to rewrite the movie. I'm going to be in it then. I'm going to be."
That's another thing too. When I was on the set of Supercon, like I got to talk to a lot of people. And they were telling me, they were like, yeah, it was like, you know, a lot of movies, like good movies, get shelved because the people who pay, like the producers, like sometimes, like he said, with this movie in particular, we got a couple that decided to invest in a movie. And actually, they came out on set and she took out her phone and started filming, like them filming the movie, which is a big fucking no-no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They let her get away with it because they're holding a paycheck. He was like, you have no idea how many movies like fucking just got shelved because
they'll get optioned as a property and it just sits on a shelf for forever.
Well, the producers either lose their fortune before they can pay for the whole thing, or like in some cases where it's a married couple, they divorce and then the funds have to be divided. Yeah.
Oh, so that gets caught in like legal limbo.
Yeah, and then your film your film is stuck in limbo for 7 years until you can option the rights back.
Exactly. Like it's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's you know, bad shit can happen in the indie world just like it can in the
if you can afford to do it, it's much better to go ahead and find some way to fund yourself and do it indie.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, look, that's why I was like, once again, I mean, to me, the fact that Terrence gone,
Jesus, what the fuck
the reason why that's historic is because it's an indie fucking movie, right? Because Hollywood was calling. Hollywood was like the major studios or the major smaller studios were like, you know, New Line, those kinds of people were just like, yeah, like we want this, we want this, we want this. And he was just like, I think I can finance it, you know, independently. And, you know, I mean, $2 million, that's like a nothing budget today, but still turned out something that, you know, because I think Terrifier 2 was made for like $250.
And Leone, like fun, like produce his own movie this time for $2 million. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, well, I mean, he didn't have trouble raising the funds because Terrifier 2 was such a surprise hit.
They came to him. Big money came to him.
He
turned it down. Like, I'll just do the $2 million. Like, but they wanted rated R. They said you can't be doing Terrifier shit.
They want to have a say so in his movie.
He's like,
I'll just go. And so rather than make like a $10, $15, $20 million Terrifier 3, he made a $2 million Terrifier 3, and it's 100 times times better as a film than it would have been with that fucking big budget and studio
artist, man.
And he told everybody to go fuck themselves.
Because if you take somebody's money, they get a lot of say in what you're doing.
No, they don't.
You take the man's money, you make the man's movie. This is what George Romero discovered when he did Land of the Dead. Do you know what I'm saying?
Unless you get that J.K. Rowling contract, like
then you can go. Yeah, then you can tell people.
That's the contract to have.
Well, the Pulp Fiction guy, I can't remember his name.
Tarantino.
Anyway, he was in a meeting with a bunch of contributors to his movie, and they were like, okay, yeah, we want to do this, we want to do that. And he like folded the script up. He was like, I don't think we want to make the same movie, and he started to walk out. And they're like, wait.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you have that kind of stroke, you can do that. And the thing is Leone after Terrifier 2 had that kind of fucking stroke, and fucking, is fucking killing it, man. Fucking killing it. It's just a really good sign because as much as I'd love to see him like move out of that franchise and do, because that's what I'm really interested in. I'm interested in what he's going to do post Terrifier, but that's a franchise that can run indefinitely, and like because David Newton Howard has got that part locked the fuck down.
I think his career is gonna get, well. I mean, he's already playing Mickey Mouse in the Mickey Mouse slasher of a Steamboat. You know,
is he really?
Yeah, I think it's out already, or it's coming out for sure.
I was not going to watch.
We only should stay in the indie market, like not go mainstream, because when you go mainstream, you sell your soul. Yeah.
Yes.
Meet more producers. You know what I mean?
And guess who owns Art the Clown?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I got to give a shout out to somebody real quick. I just got followed on X by Belushi Movies.
Belushi Movies.
What's up, Jim? What's up?
You mean like Jim Belushi?
Yeah.
I hope not. Yeah, better be John Belushi. Everybody forgets that John Belushi is. It's tragic. Anyway,
who's John Belushi?
No, not John Belushi. Jim, his brother.
His brother Jim.
Who's John?
His brother has a girlfriend.
Animal
John Belushi from Saturday Night Live, the Blues Brothers, all those things.
Yes.
He's got a
talented.
He was always
he's got a string comedian. He has a brother named Jim who's actually quite an accomplished actor and musician and singer.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, Jim's awesome, and I liked him in Red Heat. Stick around,
dude. Watch his. My favorite movie is like Red Heat's great, but like watch him in Real Men with John Ritter. That's amazing.
I prefer to. I think the best movie that he's in is Thief with James Caan, and that's great because he gets blasted with a shotgun in like 15 minutes.
Oh wait, no,
he was in a pretty good TV series.
Yeah.
Yes, that was his first movie.
Oh, he's funny as fuck. He's a good actor.
His TV series was fucking awesome. Where
he's a good dude.
It's funny.
Well, awesome. Thanks so much, Jim, for following our buddy.
You just followed the madness on Twitter, and I just
if you was watching
this, I just wanted to say what's up.
What's up?
Heck yeah.
And sup to Grey Wolf, sup to James, what's up, Sim, everybody else that's hanging out, just listen to us fucking yap about this and that and horror movies, of course. Thank you for chilling like a villain. Smack the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, ring a ding ding dong, to bell for notifications. You know the drill.
Yeah, it only took us an hour to actually start talking about the movie.
Well, here's the trailer.
That's how we do.
Yep.
Let's have a seance.
Oh, and this is the new trailer. I should point out because if you go on YouTube, you find old trailers. There's actually a TV trailer for this that's on YouTube. That's actually kind of cool. You see, it says inspired by the Henry James novella *The Turn of the Screw*. This is based more on a story by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. It's called *The Yellow Wallpaper*. Every English lit student knows this.
I read that.
Story,
yes.
Right? It's about
the Green Door.
No,
it's about
you look at the
Maryland
Maryland Chambers on.
The yellow wallpaper is about a woman who's going slowly mad because of the pattern in her wallpaper.
Well, she's going slowly mad because they're giving her the rest cure, which is
I know, but
you're nervous, so just lie down in bed. And that itself was almost. I actually did research on this for some reason when I was a lit major.
And she just obsesses with her wallpaper because she's
got
nothing else to look at.
Exactly. Yeah. So she just goes completely. Yeah. It's a story about madness. This is a story about madness and the supernatural. So you've got somebody that is
the madness
is genuinely
followed by Jim Belushi,
unhinged, right? We know has had a mental illness problem because she's just come out of the psych ward, and her boyfriend and his best friend bought a little house.
That's her husband,
upstate, or her husband. Yes, thank you. That's right, because I remember they're wearing rings and everything like that. Yeah, and supernatural shenanigans ensue.
Why not? Don't you believe in spirits? Nothing's ever completely dead.
Oh, yeah, and then it has this funky electronic score. One of those really early electronic scores.
calling on the spirits of everyone
That's pretty crazy, actually. This is the trailer for the Australian Blu-ray.
who ever died in this house. If you're present, give us a sign. Give us a sign. All the dead, come to us. I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Poor mole.
Why have you been following me? What do you want?
Nice picture.
So are there ghosts in this movie?
Actually,
that's the question.
Vampires. Actually,
a new kind of vampire. A new kind of vampire, right?
Yes. She is, and it becomes. Here's the thing: they're saying that this is like the turn of the screw, and I don't think it is, because I don't think at any point are you supposed to believe that this woman, Emily, right, this hippie chick that they find in the house when they move in, and then they invite her to stay, right? There's no question that she is Abigail, the girl in the picture who drowned, right? And it's never said like why she drowned, how she drowned, but I think it's sort of intimated that she drowned herself. And according to folklore, the main people that come back as vampires are
suicides,
suicides and murderers.
Yes. And
that's kind of a weird lore. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, yeah. Well, I mean, but it's European. It's like medieval European.
But the problem with the suicides in the European lore is like that's the unpardonable sin.
Right.
So you're damned. You can't be buried on consecrated ground. So that's how they come back. Like
plus, things were so bad back then with lice and things trying to eat you that everybody wanted to kill themselves.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I mean, I turn into a whiny little fuck. You can't take me camping because I turn into a whiny little fucking bitch because I don't have running water.
Or mosquitoes? Like, I can't take mosquitoes. I live in Louisiana and I can't take mosquitoes.
I can't take those.
Oh, yeah, fuck that shit, too.
Smashing them all the time.
Yeah, and then the sun, my lily white ass fucking just turns fucking lobster.
You know, just thinking about camping makes me want to slice my wrist.
If you guys,
I'm not the only one.
Pretty much.
If you guys could have been with me for my annual training in the National Guard in Fort Stewart, Georgia, in the middle of summer, out in Camp Swampy, as we used to call it. That's the good times.
Fuck that! And you were with just a bunch of dudes too.
We had girls too. We had girls too.
I'll be straight with you. When I was on the boat,
because we were a medical support battalion, so we had females with us.
But that's cool.
Everybody was gross and nasty.
When I was working offshore, I was 300 miles like offshore, like on the water, and it was with a crew of all guys. You know what I'm saying? Like your mentality and everything changes. You know? Like, and I can kind of see how dudes act in jail, why they have to bulk up and like just walk around like they own the motherfucker.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we definitely did that in boot camp. You know, like we're all stressed and everything. We're going through all that, but there's, the pecking order gets established pretty quickly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I mean,
it's not that bad, dude. Like you get, I know you're thinking like, oh, that's horrible because.
But dudes, once the old pecking order gets established, dudes kind of fall in line and just start working together pretty efficiently.
Yeah, like it's not like if you put a bunch of women on a boat, one woman's going to come back on that boat after 2 weeks.
I'll tell you,
guys are completely different.
When we left boot camp, we got to our AI training. And we had males and females on the base then. The women's had their own bay, the men had their own bay. But we were platoons with men and women in it. Mostly because we're like Fort Houston is pretty much where all the medical training goes. And so like one of my friends was coming out and like, oh, it's the weekend. We got the weekend pass. Let's go do something. One of my friends comes out of the bay and she's like looking all pissed off. And this is when I learned how different men and women were. And her name was Mifflin. I was like, "Oh man, what's going on, Miff? You look really pissed off." And she goes, "Women are bitches." And I that was such a shock to me because you grow up seeing like little friend groups of women. They all seem they're all jumping around, happy, smiling, laughing, doing all that shit.
Yeah,
and and here I am. I'm in a bay with 70 other guys, and we're having a great time. Now there's one or two assholes, but for the most part, we're having a great time. So I thought that all the women together were having a great time too. But it turns out you can't put
absolutely not.
It's like
you can't put more than 3 women together
for, especially sorry to say feminists, but y'all are your own worst enemies.
It's actually true. Like if you ever had a sister, you know exactly what he's talking about.
I tell my wife
y'all should be running shit, but that's the reason why you're not, because you can't work together.
Exactly.
Well, you think they have to have a flaw, because if they didn't, we'd fucking be slaves.
Well, here's what encapsulates it for me. I realized this one day. I told my wife this. It's like, here's the biggest difference between men and women. Men have friends and have enemies. Women have frenemies.
Yep.
Exactly.
You nailed it, Bracey.
There it is, son. Yep. Without a fucking doubt, man. Without a fucking doubt. And it's not like men aren't fucked up. It's not like we're not fucked up in our own ways, right? But that's how women are fucked up.
But here's the difference. I'm gonna tell you the difference right now. When men fight, we usually become friends after we fight, right? I mean, we punch each other in the mouth and everything's done. We've
it's one way or the other. Yeah.
Women do that. They hold the grudge.
Yeah, I mean, it's over.
Oh fuck!
It's like I
can hold a grudge too. You have to do like horrible shit to me. You have to do horrible shit for me to hold a grudge.
You don't see a guy in the movie The Grudge. It's always a chick.
Yeah, but when guys settle things, it's settled. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's not the way it is.
That's why we need to bring back dueling.
Or boxing. That's what I always thought in high school. You want to stop fighting and killing people? Have them box each other.
Because I was telling her, I was like, at the very worst, if men get into it and they take it to the absolute worst degree, one of them will kill the other one. And
but
it's like
usually it doesn't happen, but it can.
It doesn't happen. I'm saying, but like if you take men to the farthest extent that you can. Now this can also happen with women, because there are women murderers out there too, but the big difference is like women would rather make you suffer for the rest of your life. That's a level of vindictiveness that we don't have.
Yes.
Yeah, but once we get that out the way, like once we punch each other in the mouth or do whatever we got to do, it's done. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no animosity there.
Dueling back in the Dizzy, I'm talking about, like 1700s, 1800s, unless it was with pistols, if it was with swords, it would usually end at first blood.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just like we're gonna go at it, and then one of us is gonna get cut.
All right, dude.
And then it's like, okay, done. Right? Now
except for the Japanese. The Japanese always brought that to the nth level.
Yeah, they killed themselves.
Yeah, that's because they're
dishonored.
I want to parade each other's heads around, all kinds of stuff.
Vikings or the barbarians, all kinds of people can be fucking nuts. But we're talking
hang your head outside their house so that other people know not to fuck with them.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Nothing makes a statement like a head on a spike.
So,
and then if you lost the fight, you killed yourself.
Yeah, right.
Yosh.
Seppuku.
Seppuku.
There's no gray area in Japan.
Jesus Christ! It's almost like the Japanese are bitches. You know what I'm saying? Like this.
Hard fucking core. I mean, dude, look at their military. Look at their fucking. Look at their mafia. The Yakuza. Those motherfuckers are hardcore. Right? And I just loved when they did like a deadly
old Yakuza. You know that
like the Yakuza versus like Cosa Nostra. And I'm like, a bunch of out of shape, fat Italian guys with baseball bats are going to beat the piss out of a bunch of fucking hardcore, tatted up, carved out of fucking, chiseled out of fucking marble maniacs with fucking 3-foot straight razors. I don't fucking think so.
Yeah. No, it'd be over quick.
No, that'd be over quick.
Fast and in a hurry.
That's for goddamn sure. I love the townies here, right?
Mm-hmm.
For one thing, you can tell that there's not an actor amongst them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So they're totally authentic, and there's this scene where homeboy goes into like the antique shop, right? Because he's blown like his entire wad, all his fucking money on this house, right? Because he wants to get his wife there and hopefully get her well in her head. So he's trying to sell stuff from the house, right? Because it came loaded up with antiques, and hoping that they can make a living that way. And also there's like a little apple orchard and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But this scene kind of reminds me, and the townies in general, reminds me a lot of Easy Rider.
No, yeah.
Right? Like when he comes out, this dude is just like rubbing his boot heel or shoe heel on the side of their car, because their car is a fucking hearse. And a fucking sweet looking one too, with the fucking fishtails.
Always wanted one of those.
It looks like it looks like a Chevy hearse is what it looks like to me, like a cross between a hearse and a Chevy.
Yeah, so you've got this
fishtails, anything with fishtails.
You got this kind of class warfare already, because you've got the townies versus like the country folk basically, and they roll up in a hearse, and the guys are all looking at them like they're a bunch of jerks because they got a hearse, and they're like, "Hey man, it's cheaper than a station wagon."
Yeah.
So they're all flipping about everything, but like, you just don't roll up into a small town and try and, act out like that. They don't understand small town people at all.
No, not at all. And in fact, like when this scene happened, I was just thinking of that Dead Milkman song. This is a tiny town, and we don't like you coming round.
Yes.
Big time. So yeah, they get the cold shoulder in a major way, and they find Emily here, right? This lovely redhead that is a hippie chick that's just been staying in the house, has been squatting there, and they all become so charmed by her that they invite her to stay. But unfortunately, Jessica is hearing voices, and it doesn't quite become clear immediately whether those voices are coming from without or from within. Some of them are clearly coming from within.
Yeah,
right?
Some of them are her internal monologue, but others are questionable.
Jessica. Right? Yeah. The little and lots of
now I have issues with this film. Like, I didn't like it the way you do. Because I thought, first of all, like, they're calling her crazy. We don't get backstory on why she's crazy. We just know that she spent 6 months in treatment, and husband has decided to sell everything, do the Green Acres thing, and move her out to the countryside. And he's a musician. He's a concerto musician, and he moves out to an apple orchard with absolutely no idea how to farm. No money.
Yes.
Like they're selling off antiques.
I don't see what the problem is here.
Well, his buddy is the only one who seems to understand how to farm at all.
Yes.
So I'm like, what is the plan, man? You guys don't.
That's the point, though.
Sounds like a normal creative guy. Actually.
That's the point, though.
Well, you
Jessica
make an excellent point there.
From the city, right, which is where she's which is where they're from. Taking her from the city and taking her out here and isolated her. And so
sounds like an abuser. Is he abusing her?
And she's also kind of isolated financially.
Yeah.
Right? That he's just, because that's part of what makes things tense, is the fact they've got to find a way to make this work or they are screwed. I'm sorry, Preston, you were saying something?
So it sounds like he's going to abuse her.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that abuse, like what abusers do?
Right.
Like they move you away from your friends and family.
I mean,
so that he can have you.
But they're
like yellow wallpaper.
It seems like he does care, but there also is like an undertone of him treating her a certain way because he's worried about her mental fragility.
Which then makes her, and she even says, she's like, you worrying about me going crazy is making me crazy.
Yeah.
and but it looks like they're working shit out. They go to this antique shop. That's where we see this picture, and at one point, Jessica approaches Emily and shows her the picture and says, like, this looks so much like you. Like, that looks exactly like you. And she says, like, it's the eyes, right? And that's when you realize this is the same person, right? That the stories, that the rumors are true, that Abigail, I forget what her last name is, drowned herself in her wedding dress and came back as a vampire. So, I mean, how did you guys interpret this? Did you think that it was taking place in her head? Did you think that the horror was real, that it was a mixture of both?
I thought it was a mixture of both. Yeah. Oh, sorry, what you're saying?
Oh, go ahead. You go first, man.
I thought, that they definitely were vampires, and the whole, like, they invited her in or let her stay. After she had left, they invited her back.
The invitation.
So that was that. And then again with all the vampire lore, from the medieval period, her being under the water, and then she just kept trying to seduce him, and as you see, as the story unravels, she seduces the husband as well, and you get to the end and it looks like the whole town's in on it, but it's like a different type of, they're blood-sucking vampires, but not the traditional kind with the teeth, right? She does.
Right. Although she does at one point lunge for Jessica's throat with her teeth.
And we do actually see her bite the husband's best friend.
Right.
When they finally start making out, she actually bites him on the neck. Or at least
she's got like false teeth.
The musical cue implies it. She could have just been kissing his throat, but the implication is that she bites him.
Maybe they couldn't get fangs or something. Maybe they needed a lot of fangs, and they're like, let's just
I
do
think they
something
just
different.
wanted to be more ambiguous than that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I think. Because remember, fangs. One of the reasons there were so many vampire movies is because, take a pair of fangs and just stick them in, and you're good to go.
Vampires are cheap and easy to do.
Cheap and easy to do, and that's why there are a billion vampire movies and not so many werewolf films.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Damn
shame.
Yep.
I think she was possessed too, like brought back to life by some kind of like
for Dr. Blalock. It's a damn dirty shame.
Thing, you know what I mean? And she was getting her vampiric powers from a different energy or entity from another dimension or type thing, and it's kept her alive, because she was the same spirit, and she's.
Do you guys remember a movie where it was about vampires, but like they were milking people for blood, and they would have metal fangs they would push into their mouth? What is that called?
It's an exploitation movie.
It's an old.
It's from like the late 70s. Yeah. I think Henry Silva is in that. I think David Hemmings is in that.
And at the end, like there's no, like at first you think like it's all in their head, and then at the end their eyes start glowing after they drink. And you're like, oh fuck, this is real.
Yeah, but those were human beings that were drinking blood as part of like a cult, right? Yeah. That's why they had the metal fangs. Although it's interesting, the very first, who the very first vampire was to have fangs in the movies was Christopher Lee in The Horror of Dracula.
Oh, he was the
That's
first.
because Hammer knew how to do it, right?
But definitely Hammer. I said Hammer.
Hammer's like, move the fuck over.
I'm all
this Dracula franchise here.
Here, check this out. This is a really good little book called House of Psychotic Women. It's by a Kayla Janice, who I hope I never ever run into. And I say that because like she's one of those girls like, oh, I think I could fall for this chick and it would be a bad thing. Do you know what I'm saying? And she
has a deep understanding of psychotic women.
What she did was she this book's really not like any other book on horror movies I've ever read, because she kind of works in a history of female hysteria in horror films, right? Which is a long and proud tradition. And she combines it with her own life. So it's like autobiographical. I do recommend it. It is really, really good. But yeah, I love the fact that on the cover is
there it is,
Jessica to death. So this is like kind of a buried treasure that is getting critical attention. It's not quite where Possession is now. Like Possession, it used to be just completely, at first it was called dog shit, then it was unknown, and now it's like I'll see it on a story on like my home starting page on the internet. So it's like
I'll give my impression. I think that the vampires are real, and I'll say that she's real, and here's why. Because if we were going to make her the sole POV character, then I would say it was all in her head. But because we have scenes that do not involve her, that involve the best friend and the vampire together, and some things going on in town just with her husband, we don't treat her as the unreliable narrator like in a film like The Joker. So because you've got to trust what's in the frame.
Yes.
If we don't establish that she's an unreliable narrator, and they do try and mix that in a little bit, but because you show us these things that are going on without her being present, I have to take that as fact in the context.
Exactly. That's exactly how I see it too. Is if there is a scene that's happening that's not from the character's point of view, it's happening. That has to be real. And yeah, I mean, her husband, of course, goes into town and kind of disappears into that doorway, right?
Yeah, he's supposed to be back before lunch, and he's gone for like 5 hours.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, of course, this happens. And this is, I think, one of the most striking scenes in horror history. I think that this is a movie that has some real fear in it. I think it has a real sense. Rod Serling, this is actually an interesting little thing I should have mentioned before. Rod Serling in the early 70s, like around 71, 72, around the time this came out, he was doing the college lecture circuit. And he was telling the students, I just saw the scariest horror movie I've ever seen in my life. And it was this. So Rod Serling was a big champion of this movie when it came out. The director, John Hancock, that's his real name. They wanted him to do Jaws 2 after seeing this. Yeah. But I think
that would have been interesting.
For sure. Although, I mean, I wouldn't, oh God, that would be a rough job, right? Because how do you fucking top that shit? It's like making a sequel to like a Stanley Kubrick movie or something.
Dr. Agita says she was robo-tripping and hallucinated the whole thing.
She was robo-tripping and hallucinated the whole thing. Let me try something here because let me do this. We lost Preston. Preston's fucking just fucking.
Oh, he's bounced out a couple of times. Yeah.
That bastard! How dare he? Let me see. I'll share my screen because I'm trying to play the. Oh, what's up, Beth? What's going on? I'm not wearing my Lotus Thief shirt, unfortunately. Dr. Agita. What up, Dr. Agita? Good to see you, brother, man. I know who you are. I know who you is. But yeah, I tried downloading this clip and I couldn't do it. So I'm trying to figure out how to see if I can play it through the browser. Pops, can you help me with this? Are you even there? I think he's jumped ship.
Trying to do what?
I'm trying to play here. I'll drop it in the chat. I'm trying to play this video because I really fucking want to show this because this is just this is the scene that I think if it doesn't convince you to give this movie a look, I don't know. I can't do nothing for you, man. I can't do nothing for you.
I don't see. Oh, that one.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can play that.
Hold on.
All right.
Pops is a busy man juggling 4
Yeah, he
things.
is. Yeah, he is. Multitasking, man. Multitasking. I smoke too much weed. Well, that's the thing. It's like I don't smoke enough weed. Because Pop's one of those people who smokes so much weed that he's like gone over a certain crest where it's just like he can be completely lucid and based. I dated a chick like that too that smoked that much weed, and she was brilliant and really smart and right on the fucking money. And it's just like I never saw that chick stoned because she was always smoking. Can do, Pops. Thanks, brother. Thanks, brother, man.
Is this what you want to see?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nobody's here.
Yeah, I like this scene.
Yeah, that last 30 minutes of the movie really comes together,
Right? Up to that point, it's a slow burn, and once you get to the third reel, it just everything goes fucking crazy.
This is the scariest scene in the movie, I guess.
Oh, for sure.
Just because it's like she has you, and there's nothing you can really do. Like she pushes her into the water,
And it's just a sublime moment. Like,
this
very scene is it seems like this are the reason why you watch horror movies, because even if they suck, you hope for moments like this.
Yeah.
And she's kind of dark-skinned, which makes this actress look even more pale.
Yeah.
Here it is.
She comes out of the water here. I know she's just coming up on her own, but it's almost like she's coming up on a gimbal. It's pretty cool how smooth she comes out of the water.
Stay, Jessica. Stay. You're home now. You're home now.
Yeah, man. So it's like she's
They
under.
give me like
go ahead.
like old school Salem's Lot vibes right there.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
Yeah, a lot of people have actually compared this to the Tobe Hooper. So, by the way,
Vampires are creepy, and scary,
the new Salem's Lot. In case that's right. Yeah, because I mentioned it on your stream, Matt.
Yeah.
But yeah, the new Salem's Lot is fucking hot garbage.
That's what I've been
Have
hearing.
you seen it yet?
No, I'm waiting.
I haven't seen it myself yet, but like one of our cinema crusaders who actually makes short films himself, Lance Lucero, Warehouse 9, he had the same reports. Like, why did I bother to waste my time watching this?
It's bizarrely bad. It's bad in a bizarre way, where it's just like right from the very first scene where you see Straker, right? It was played by a guy who looks like a poor man's Nick Offerman, right? And you compare that to fucking James fucking Mason in the original. Are you willing to face the master? Your faith against his?
Okay,
right.
I've got to share this with you because
Awesome.
there's this bit that this comedian did that has always stuck with me.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, like, I do impressions of people that nobody ever does impressions of. So I want you to imagine James Mason as Moe of the Three Stooges, Larry, Curly, I'm going to poke you both very hard in the eyes now. Nyuk, nyuk. All right, fellas, let's scram. Woob, 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 woob.
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Oh, fucking. But yeah, it's bizarrely bad. It's one of those films where I'm like, I want watch like the first scene, right?
Yeah.
Get the credits, fast forward through the credits, watch the first scene, and you'll immediately feel like something is seriously off.
Damn.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting to see
there's a reason
Hellboy.
why they kept that in a fucking why that sat on a shelf. Or
Even though I know it's bad, I'm going to watch it because the curiosity is just keeping me alive.
Yeah, I hear Barlow's pretty solid. I heard that Barlow was pretty solid, so I'll check it out. I'll check it out for Barlow at least.
Too much CGI.
But I'm waiting for the Penguin to get the whole season, so I'll probably just get HBO Max. I'll binge Penguin and get that. But I'm really excited for Hellboy.
Because sadly, the Salem's Lot with Rutger Hauer sucked too, and I love Rutger Hauer.
Yeah. I'm really disappointed. I mean, you could put any actor in there, the best actor of all time, and it still sucks. Doesn't matter. It can't save the movie.
Nothing is going to be as scary. Nothing is ever going to be as scary looking as fucking Reggie Nalder in that fucking Nosferatu makeup with the fucking like snake-shaped fucking rat fangs.
Yeah,
and
I get
contact lenses, and he's 7 feet fucking tall. Terrible.
I know, I know
it's
Stephen
still
King.
The scariest vampire ever.
I know Stephen King didn't like it. I know they didn't like him doing the Nosferatu bit, and I know if I wrote it, I would want to see Straker played as Straker, but at the same time,
Barlow? Yeah,
Barlow in that was so freaking scary.
It's like you see it, you're like, fuck, it's better than what I wrote,
His inhumanness just
can't
comes
pass
off the screen.
Never pass for human.
And it's like he looks like Nosferatu, but there is, if you really put them together, there is a lot of differences. Like Orlok has more hair on above his ears. He has a little bit of hair.
Yeah.
He just got that
and
hair.
at least
the eyes are different.
Orlok,
like you said, he's
Orlok
got snake teeth.
Orlok could still function amongst people, but Barlow's gone so far. There's nothing remotely human about him anymore.
Well, yeah, the movie Barlow at least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
Barlow.
blue skin.
The blue skin. So there's a lot of differences actually. When you first look at him, you're like, and I just really thought about that right now. Like, damn, there is a lot of differences between Barlow and Nosferatu.
Yeah, they took inspiration from it, but they didn't try to copy it.
That's where you go, though, right?
Not like when you
right, not like Reeves or Lee
not like
or
when
Lugosi,
not like when Willem Dafoe, Willem Dafoe played him. They tried to make him look as much like Max Schreck in the makeup as they could.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, you got Klaus Kinski, who's just so naturally freaky looking and needed very little makeup.
Weird. Yeah. I can't wait to see, they're still not showing, Bill Skarsgård all the way yet.
Yeah.
This one has hair. Looks like he has a comb over. And he said that the big thing when they were putting out It, he was like, hey guys, please don't show him the Pennywise yet. He was telling the studio and it leaked out somehow. They showed him. And so he got all mad. And then I saw him in an interview. They were promoting The Crow and a little bit of Nosferatu, and he was saying yeah, man, I talked to Eggers and the people, I was like, please don't show don't show it yet, just don't show it. Wait a little
I agree.
bit,
I agree.
It's been 2 trailers and it's better. I don't want to see him till halfway through the movie,
Mm-hmm.
It's and that's the thing is hopefully it's a makeup that's going to be striking in some way. Right?
I think it's going to be like Amorphous, because if you look at it in some of the trailers, it kind of spoils it. You see his nose, or it's growing back, like he has no nose, and that's what at least it looked like, and it looked like it was growing back, kind of. I'm like, ooh, cool.
More bat-like, huh?
Yeah. Well, I was hoping that he was going to have the nose,
or maybe more
that big goblin nose, that big goblin nose.
Yeah.
Like in the second trailer, he fucking has it, he's coming in through the drapes, and you could see the big honker. I'm like, yeah, man. That was the thing about the Joker, right? We got 20 Jokers and all these Jokers and all these Batman movies and whatnot. None of them got a big honker, but kind of Joaquin did a little. But you never get that goblin nose. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yes.
That chin.
Or the chin.
Really?
That's what I was
right.
like.
If you want to see that Joker, You need to look up on. You can find on YouTube. Look up the independent fan film "Batman Dead End," and you'll see a makeup that perfectly represents that.
Oh yeah, I've seen
Of
that.
course, the whole look
They
is
always
taken
nail
from
it.
Conrad Veidt in The Man Who Smiled.
Man Who Smiles.
Yeah,
A little bit, yeah, definitely the mouth.
That was that's what inspired the Joker's look.
Yes, that's exactly what. Yeah, that was the direct inspiration for the look of the character. Anyway.
It was Conrad Veidt, wasn't it?
Conrad Veidt, yes.
Conrad Veidt.
Yes, who also played Cesare, the somnambulist in the cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
I think they're building up a bunch of lore for Nosferatu, like a bunch of shit, like his power set. You know, like I did a little short, you know, on TikTok. I'm like, is he Vlad the Impaler? Are we gonna see like his origin in the new one? You know what I mean? Are they gonna talk about that? What's his power set gonna be like? You really don't know, you know.
I actually kind of dig the angle they're doing, where there's this psychic connection between him and the heroine.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, the Mina Hart.
I'm down for that.
There was a little bit of that too in Bram Stoker's, you know.
Well,
I mean, there was that.
Well, it's in the novel.
In this case, it seems to be before they've shared any blood. And so they're doing a thing like he's fixated her on for you know, maybe because he saw her picture, you know, when the comes in.
They did that in Coppola's too.
Yeah, so there's more of that there, and so I think even though, you know, Nosferatu is technically its own thing, it's still based on Dracula. So I think they're borrowing a lot more from Dracula than Nosferatu ever could, because, you know, Dracula's in the public domain now over here.
I got a cool take for Dracula now too. Like it came to me the other day. Like no one's ever done it before.
Best says good night.
I thought like all the stuff has been done. You know what I mean with Dracula? Like everything's been plucked, but I found one ruby in the story. I'm like, oh damn.
Oh dude.
I gotta do a deep dive, but I'm like, damn, I got something. I ain't telling nobody.
Dude, that's the thing. Dracula, Frankenstein, these are grand archetypes, right?
Yeah.
Like, night, Beth. Take care. Good seeing you. Smooch the pooches for me. She got cute dogs. But yeah, it's one of those great simple Jungian archetypes where it's just you can just keep reinterpreting the character over and over and over and over again. And so it's like, gee, do we really need the 10 billionth adaptation of Dracula?
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, we do,
Yeah,
but
we
it's
do.
like you can still keep tweaking it. You know what I mean? Like they're doing with Nosferatu, you know?
Forever.
Right?
Forever.
That's cool.
Yeah. Certain characters, certain stories. Yeah, you can just keep. And I think
because these are such great archetypes
told for every new generation.
Yeah, because they're such great archetypes. I know I've got a take I would love to do on Dracula at some point.
You got to do it, man.
But that's how iconic they are. These particular archetypes, like you mentioned, they just lend themselves to the imagination, to the creation of stories. Everybody who reads it, like who's got any bit of creativity in there, they like, oh wow, the possibilities.
Yeah, it needs one little thing, you know. And like I have something now, and I'm like, well, damn, how would that fit that in? And that's the fun part, you know. Like, how am I gonna tweak it to that? You know, like, ooh, that could be cool.
Well, you know, I've got my vampire story I want to do. I got my Frankenstein story I want to do. I've got not a Dracula story, but a vampire story. I've got a werewolf comic I'm just dying to do. But that's gonna have to wait because there's 10 billion fucking werewolf comics out there right now. But that's okay. You know,
a lot of werewolf time, dude. It's werewolf time. There's a lot of werewolf movies coming out this year. Fucking so excited. They all look dope. Like,
I know,
very
they look
entertaining.
good.
They all look fucking dope. Did you guys see the trailer for Werewolf? Oh, it looks great.
That looks promising. The Wolfman, I'm not fucking with.
Yeah. Operation Blood Hunt.
I think it was such a mistake to show the full makeup in a brightly lit, you know, convention center kind of setting. That was. I hope so. I really hope so.
We're all hoping it's a troll.
I don't care.
But we'll see.
I don't care because I know it's going to suck because it's by this fucking
Lane
Wannell, the guy that did the fucking shit invisible
Man,
shit woke Invisible Man movie without an Invisible Man in it, right? It's like if I'm
I beg to differ because I think that Invisible Man movie was like really tense and scary. I really enjoyed that movie quite a bit.
It doesn't have an Invisible Man. There's no Invisible Man in the movie.
Your argument, but I thought that was kind of appropriate for a modern day because we've already had like the Hollow Man. Let's do something different with it.
Yeah, but have an Invisible Man for fuck's sake, not a guy in a.
If I had the Invisible Man,
it's kind of like Joker too. It's kind of like Joker too. It doesn't really have the Joker.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why I'm not watching that. I'm
not bothering to see that. Like
that shit.
The Joker did not need a sequel.
Yeah, I'm actually like I absolutely had zero interest in the new Hellboy. Now I'm hearing people saying that it's dope.
Dude,
we're nothing but good things. I'm just mad that I'm just so mad.
Okay,
I'm just so mad. Oh, you saw it already?
No, I haven't seen it.
I've seen it, and it's freaking great. And I tell you, I wish I could have seen it at a theater.
That's why
I'm so good.
I'm mad about it. I'm furious, dude. And that's why like I should have seen it. I would have seen it before everybody.
Hey, look, I saw a bootleg cam version, and I still loved it. As crappy as it is to see a cam version of film, I hate watching cam versions of film. I had the opportunity to see it, and I watched it. And it's like, yep, this is going into my DVD collection.
It's $20, but I mean, I want to buy the DVD. You know what I mean? It's like $20. Might as well just get the Blu-ray. Because I can, you can see them in theater for $5 now. So I don't know. Maybe that's why they were doing it. They're like, we could probably make more money if people just spend $20 on it. But the movie had no marketing budget. So. And everybody
that was clear with that first teaser because I didn't think it was going to be crap.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. And that's my attitude in general is that unless I hear that something's dope, I'm just like not interested. Right? So it's just like you said it's dope. Preston said it's dope. That means it's at least worth a look, whether I like it or not. That means it's worth at least giving it a shot. Whereas before I was like, no bueno.
Yeah, I'm just going to rent it probably, and then buy it afterwards. We'll see what's up.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to see that. I actually want to see that more than any movie right now. But
I tell you, you weren't in here to hear this earlier, but it is legitimately my favorite live action version of Hellboy now.
Well, it sounds like it. I mean, the way that they described it, I mean, that's my favorite comic. I mean, I can't wait. I hope they do the Wolves of St. August, man. That one's my favorite.
And I gotta say, Mignola was involved. Mike Richardson from the CEO of Dark Horse was heavily involved, and they nailed it.
Yeah, and he wrote the script and the screenplay. Him and Michael Golden, the guy that wrote Bones of Giants.
Oh, Michael Golden's great.
Yes.
So that's
Golden's a legend.
I love Bones of Giants. You guys ever read that one?
I'll tell you, like you guys remember the I can't remember his name right now, but the actor who played Carlton on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Not Carlton, the butler.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh,
yeah, he's got a pivotal role in the film.
He's the priest, huh?
He's the priest, and he kills it. Kills it.
I thought I noticed him. Like, that's dope. They gave him a little role.
He's so
in there,
good.
Yeah, and he's like always so very British, and there he's like, oh man, stop him.
now he's very Southern Gothic.
The Southern Gothic, yeah. I might have to.
Being a Carolina boy myself, I love me some Southern Gothic.
Are you in Northern or Southern right now?
I'm in South Carolina, but I'm very firmly a Carolina boy. My dad's side of the family is from North Carolina. My mom's side of the family is from South Carolina.
Do you know where Olympus is?
Yeah.
That's in South, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so my friend lives out there. My best bud. He just moved out there about a year and a half ago. Bought a house. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Now, we are a art-oriented show since we're comic creators and shit. This is like a really cool piece of fan art, I think, out of the different ones that I found. And let me reorient that.
What's up with the text? I mean, is it from the book of the movie?
It's actually drawn. Somebody actually drew this.
They drew it on a book
page from like a paperback novel.
Yeah,
of the movie
cool.
or something like that.
Well, just I don't think so. If it's, I don't think it's had a novel.
You know what? I kind of dig that aesthetic, man. Like
I do too. Like I was like, I think it would be cool. Like if it was a journal entry from the main character, and it was just the voices that some of the lines from the voices in her head. You know.
Yes.
And then
that's
maybe,
actually what I was expecting.
That's what or I thought it was a novel, but
it's called Secret Star.
So the concept and the composition for this would be great for Jack Torrance.
Oh my God!
The line that he's always typing, just have that going down, and just have his face.
All
right
work
there,
and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yeah, and then just have his face coming through like here's Johnny.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That'd be a cool T-shirt, actually, a whole white T-shirt with the text, and then.
Oh, geez, that kind of makes me want to draw that now.
It's a good concept and composition. This is my favorite one, though.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
Yeah, I like this one a lot too.
Oh wait,
is that for a particular? Is that for a Blu-ray or DVD release? Where'd that come from?
No, this was on DeviantArt.
Oh wow!
I mean, I like that one,
somebody
but
on DeviantArt is just a fan. Nice.
Like it's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it's very like Bruce Timm or Animaniac style. I didn't really notice. I didn't really notice the head until I zoomed in. Very the caricature size head. It's cool, but I mean, I thought it was something else, to be honest. But it's dope. Concept and composition on this is killer too. I love the way the hands are like waves.
Yeah, I mean, I always love seeing fan art. Fan art is always a cool thing.
That's dope. That's scary. That's like some Black Sabbath like shit. The other one, where she's coming up out of the water, reminds me of the first album.
Yeah. Wait.
Yes.
Go back to the one where she's in the page. On the book page.
That's it.
All right. If you look at that just right, that kind of looks like Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
But it also is quite recognizably
You
that
don't
actor.
even have to look at it just right. You just look
that
at
character,
it
too.
like Ozzy Osbourne.
There's another one too. Like it looks like it's a newer one that someone inked. It was at the top where she's coming up out of the water. It's that one.
This is great right here.
That one's probably my favorite, actually. I love the negative space up at the top.
Yep. Yeah, that's beautiful work right there.
Yeah.
For me, like that would be the DVD cover right there.
I love how they work the logo into those swirls of water. That's nicely done.
Is that
It
beautiful?
could also be a cool like hippie like poster for a show. You know what I mean? You could have like that down there. And you have the band name at the top and the
Sometimes
now,
these
since this was in the 70s, I kind of want to see this done as a blacklight poster now with all them wild colors on a black velvet painting.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's like now movie posters are made in cubicles by people using Photoshop, right?
Yeah.
But people, the fans, are making their own posters for movies, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is awesome because nobody does something like this unless they're a fan.
That would be fun. You do it, like say you do a really good job.
Yeah,
you're proud
I
of
just
it.
saw
Put it up in your house,
Francesco Francavilla.
I just saw a fan poster somebody did for the Watchmen on X today, and it looked absolutely amazing. I was like, man, I wish this had been the poster for the movie.
It's always better,
So
like
good.
afterwards, the posters, because everything has time to sit, and but every now and then you get a good one when it comes out.
My least favorite period of movie posters was the, I guess, early 2000s.
Oh my
when
God!
Everything was like glamour shots.
Glamour shots,
or just all headshots.
Yeah. It was the hot young cast.
There's
How
a
boring.
cat.
Yeah, and then like a triangle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be a Josh
basic
Hartnett
drapes.
at the front, and then it would like fan out, and you'd have the stars in descending attractiveness, basically.
Yeah, it's like you remember the Abrams
screen
Star
poster.
Trek? They had like a whole bunch of
screen
posters for Star Trek, and it was like, oh, there's Chris
faculty.
Pine, there's Zachary Quinto, there's Carl Urban, and that's all the posters were, just their face in heavy shadow on one side and heavily lit on the other. It's like, this is boring.
There's a horror like artist. I don't know what his name is, but he's like, I could tell like whenever I see his work, and he's doing a lot of he's doing like a lot of the Terrifier stuff. Like, you know what I mean? It's painted. Like the one that where he's got his new like sidekick. She's sitting on his lap, and he's like, Santa Claus. But he does a lot of their like T-shirts for Fright Rags, and he'll do like the Thing and
Oh,
a bunch
yeah,
of
yeah.
painted, just different styles. He's got like 5 different Joe Bob Briggs shirts too. You know, it's the same artist too. It's
yes,
really,
yes,
really good force perspectives and stuff. You know, like just, you know.
Yeah. They also do
really
limited edition posters like for charity.
Yeah.
Not posters, T-shirts. Yeah.
Good for them. Good for them.
Yeah. I always find that. Hey, look, the only reason why fucking Shudder gets my $8 every month is because of Joe Bob Briggs. That's it. That is it.
Is Elvira on right now? I think Elvira's back, dude.
Is she really?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I think she is. I think she's on like a YouTube channel or something.
Really?
I seen something. I don't know if it was new or old, but it looked like her now because she's old now, and you can kind of see.
She can stay around forever, man. You know,
like a lot of makeup, a soft focus lens.
but also it's just one of those things. Okay, it's like you're not smoking hot anymore, but you're still.
But she's still got that razor sharp wit.
We still want you around. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like the thing that made Elvira different is like, you can have any hot chick, promoting a movie. Yeah. But Cassandra always had a razor sharp wit. She was good with the jokes, man.
Super nice to the fans. Super nice to the fans. I remember when I was a kid reading an interview with her in Fangoria, and she was talking about how they were showing Creature from the Black Lagoon in 3D, and you had to go to like 7-Eleven to get your 3D glasses. And she went, and she was standing in line to get her 3D glasses, and everybody was just like, "What are you doing here?" And she was like, "Well, I want to watch the movie too."
You guys got to understand, though, she represented a genre.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not a movie or a movie franchise. A genre. She represented horror.
Yeah, she's a legend and a fucking icon. And my God, did she age very, very.
I'm so jealous of one of my fellow comic crusaders, David Nemesis Howard, because he got to interview her. And I really wanted to be the one to interview her, but he got to. And he said she was so cool because she had a new comic book series coming out.
Yeah.
So he got to interview her. And this is something I don't understand about people who interview other people.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who don't read or watch or listen to whatever the artist creates.
Yeah, you got to do your homework.
They don't do their homework.
And so he read her book, and he was asking her, like, she had this treehouse, and he said, so how do you go to the bathroom in a treehouse? And she's like, holy cow, you actually read the book. So you can tell this is something that doesn't happen often. Like, you'll get an interview, and somebody's like, so tell me about your book. It's like, well, shouldn't you have read it? You should be able to ask me questions about what's going on. Because, like,
right.
Whenever I get the opportunity myself to interview some of these people who make these independent films. I've had the pleasure of interviewing a number of people whose films were distributed through Dark Sky Entertainment, for instance.
Oh, nice.
I dig in. Like the most famous person I got to interview was Casper Van Dien for something he did. I got to interview him and his wife.
Cool.
And I get in there and I do my research, and part of my research, especially for somebody who's at least got that level of fame, is I watched other interviews he did via simulcast like this.
So you don't always ask the same fucking
exactly. Yeah. I did not want to be that guy, and I watched this one interview
so that they're present,
and I could see how bored he was.
Actors say this on like press junkets.
Basically,
they
about
go
Johnny
around,
Rico
they tour,
again.
and just answer the same fucking questions.
Give him a new bone to chew on, man.
Seriously.
That's why I come up and I ask people stuff like, what's your favorite album cover art?
Right. Throw them a curveball.
I always have something.
Because then also they're going to come alive. They're going to perk up and they're going to suddenly be present. They're actually going to be having a real conversation with you as opposed to
it works because I was legitimately interested in him. I've always enjoyed his work.
Yeah.
And finding out his wife does this Wonder Woman skit thing. She's really good at that. And so getting them to ask these questions, and we had the best time, man. Like we were laughing and smiling and trading stories. It was fantastic.
That's awesome.
That's what I did to Chuck Dixon because I didn't want to be the guy who asked the same questions he's heard.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
What's your favorite album cover art? He went,
What's your favorite Charles
I
Bronson
don't
movie?
even know.
He's like, what?
He had to think
I've
about
never
it.
been asked that in my entire life.
Right. Right. No, for real. And that's also showing that you're actually interested in them as a person, right?
Mhm.
Because really, it's kind of like when you know somebody and they met somebody that's a famous for whatever reason. What's your first question? Like, what are they like, right? Or or if you know people in the comic book industry who are legends and icons and shit like that, and you're like, oh yeah, I got to hang out with that dude. Well, what's he like? That's what you always want to know, right? And and whether they're cool or not, right? That's what we really want to know. We want to know if they're cool, if they're chill, or if they're a-holes. Or with Dan Fraga, it's like when I asked him about Chow Yun Fat, I was like, I didn't ask him like, is Chow Yun Fat cool? I was like, how cool is Chow?
How cool?
And he was like, dude, and just started going off because everybody does with that dude. Anyway, what are we doing next week? Are we doing we already did? I think we had back-to-back Spaghetti Western Jamboree. So next week we do Kung Fu Theater.
Nice.
Ichiban. I'm thinking of maybe doing one of the Thai martial arts movies. Have you guys seen those?
No.
I've seen Ong Bak.
Yeah.
I've seen The Protector. I've seen his Ong Bak 3 trilogy of movies.
I've seen Ong Bak.
Okay.
I've seen a few Thai movies, even though I couldn't recall the names of all of them. But if you bust out like Ong Bak or The Protector, I am 100%. I own those movies and I've seen them like a million times.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're amazing. They're amazing.
Too. Like that fight with Nathan Jones.
Oh my god! Yeah, no, that's awesome. A lot of shit's fucked up in that movie, but yeah, it has its moments. And that scene in particular. And then
I'm such a fan of like capoeira, and getting to see him fight the capoeira maestre in The Protector was particularly awesome. And I wish the fight could have gone longer. But that guy pulled his hamstring really bad, and so they ended up
really.
Yeah, that's why he ends up fighting like a kung fu dude, and then the giant guy thereafter.
Right.
And so that whole
he's got like
all of that
character has carved into his chest pray.
Yeah,
so it's like pray and like, oh shit, I pulled my hamstring. Shit.
The fight scene between the two of them was supposed to last that entire sequence, and I was like, damn. I was so there for the whole thing, man.
Yeah, those movies are awesome. Then there's also the ones with Jija Yayin, I think. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering her name. Oh God, Raging Phoenix. And Chocolate. Have you guys seen either?
Chocolate.
Either of you guys seen those?
Nope.
Chocolate is like one of the might be the best stealth superhero movie like ever made. Where she's like this autistic girl who has a power that's basically like the Taskmaster, right?
Yeah.
Always people always like, well, what's superhero? Like, what's superpower? If you could choose any superpower in the world, I'd be like, oh,
yeah,
Taskmaster.
Chocolate's pretty great because, like you said, she's got the photographic reflexes. If she observes somebody doing something, she understands how to replicate that action.
Right. So in one fight scene, she's fighting like Bruce Lee, and the next fight scene, she's fighting like Jackie Chan, and so it's all like the fight set pieces are almost like her doing like a greatest hits of like other martial arts icons. Yeah, but that movie's awesome. But yeah, I'm sure I could probably find one of those. Let me see. Before we skedaddle out of here, Matt, tell everybody where they can find you, my brother man.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Runecutter Comic. You can also check out my YouTube channel. It's Metal Movies and Brewskis. I do Saturday night shows, usually at midnight when I can. We talk about metal movies, monsters, all that good shit. All that good shit. Check out my channel. I got like I said, reviews. If you guys want to check out my work, you can go to butchcleaver.com. I have my 2 books up on there. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for having me, Brian. And happy Halloween, everybody.
Oh yeah. You know, one of the things I'm really digging right now is that it's not like Halloween isn't just a holiday anymore. It's a season. It's the Halloween season.
It's long. It's from August till Thanksgiving, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, in Ireland, it's in November.
That's right.
So
that's right.
Where it started.
Yep.
Samhain.
Samhain. Jeff, where can people find you and your stuff?
Well, on X, you can find me at Bracey452. I'm also a member of the Comic Crusaders, so you can catch stuff we're doing there. If you go to the Comic Crusaders website, you'll find where I've done mostly movie reviews, some comic reviews, and Comic Crusaders on YouTube. You will find a number of my interviews with people who make movies over there, as well as movie analyses either on Sloppy Spoilers or Cinema Crusaders. And if you want to see over 500 pieces of wonderful art by myself, you can go to my DeviantArt page, which is Bracey100.
Hell yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. Pops,
always a pleasure.
What's going on?
It's all action, boys.
It's all action. All action all the time.
We got Killer Karen episode 4 tomorrow.
Nice.
You don't want to miss this. You just don't want to miss this show.
Them shits is funny.
Freewheeling Friday tomorrow night. Saturday. It's What You Reading, Chuck Dixon. It's Steve B. It's random stuff from John's Long Box. Look, every day we got programming. Just tune in. Can I tell you?
Hell yeah. And F. John's long box. I hope he breaks his neck again.
He's always got something good going
Only a
on.
few people are gonna get that fucking joke.
Oh man.
Oh Christ. No, I love that dude. He's great. He's great. Yeah. But yeah, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Really do appreciate you. Spank that like button and the subscribe. And yeah, it's like you can tell I need to bail because like my words are failing me. And my ass is numb too. I need to get up and fucking move, go for a walk or something. But fellas, thank you so much for hanging out. Everybody in the audience, thank you so much for hanging out. And Pops, are you gonna take us out?
Yeah, I got plenty for you.
All right, brother man. All right, everybody, until next week, peace, love, and metal.
Metal.
Metal up your
I don't
ass.
know why, but you are watching the Madness Comic Network. Are you mental?
Flip City Magazine is just really pulling out all the stops, man. Your guys' production value of this magazine has gone insane. I mean, look at that. I mean, I remember when you guys, it was black and white. Even when it was black and white, I thought your quality was great. But damn, they just really stepping it up a notch. Look at this. James Corbett, boys. James Corbett.
Genuinely cutting, but also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.